Kia ora everyone, mai hara mai, hello and welcome. Thursday night hoops in the Sky Broadband Rapid League. Hope you're well. The NBS Nelson Giants doing battle with the Map Mills Albert Wellington Saints. Great to have you with us. Love coming back to the sunny town of Nelson. Of course, Sal's NBL to come up a little bit later tonight. Looking forward to that as well. Both the Giants and the Saints coming in off an opening game loss. Justin Nelson with you, sitting right alongside me. I'm used to him being out there running up and down the floorboards. Retired after last season. A great career. Tom Ingham, good evening to you and welcome to the team.
Yeah, cheers, Justin. Good to be here. You know, bit weird not being out there with the lads, but, you know, the knees are thanking me for it, so excited to get into this.
Well, the good news is we always said nice things about you on Sky Sport, mate. So let's have a look at the Rapid League ladder as it sits at the moment. Of course, early days, but we're starting to see the form of so many young players through this competition. Of course, the Giants, champions in the inaugural season in 2024. Saints also a win first up. They sit 2 and 3 at the moment.
Yeah, I think these two teams last year had some amazing games as well. You had at home for the Giants, they went to overtime with the Wellington Saints, and then a Tane Samuel buzzer beater in Wellington. So I'm expecting a good one tonight.
How about the Panthers getting that opening win as well? Let's have a look at the bottom half of the ladder as it sits at the moment. As I said, very, very early days and a lot to play out in the Sky Broadband Rapid League. Saints starters for this one here tonight. And both of these teams just about at full strength. Evans Jr., Dougal Meter, Pilcher, Plumtree and Richards. They've got a little bit of tall timber, haven't they?
Yeah, they really do. I think a guy to watch there is Plumtree. He's had a heck of a start, and he was actually one of my picks for the All-Star 5. I think he, at the Rapid League level, can really make a difference in terms of his pace he plays with.
Yeah, he's very good last week, Troy Plumtree. 12 points and 8 rebounds, a couple of steals in this 4x4 minute game. Let's have a look at the home team, the reigning champs. And they got off to a good start last week against the Rams. Jones, Crate, Matthews, Inwood and Blight. You look at those three guards, there is some serious young talent there.
Yeah, absolutely. And these guys are comfortable playing with each other. They've done it on national level, and the fact they're all in the Giants blue is a really
Okay, let's check out the Chemist Warehouse head-to-head. Giants and the Saints matching up.
Yeah, I think the turnovers there is a big one, obviously. The Giants did a really good job of taking care of the ball in that first game. And obviously the Saints will be looking to clean that up this game. But that Jones-Plumtree battle is going to be one to watch. Two
of the best young players in the country. Bartercard officials for this one. Thursday night hoops. Here they are, Corey Hogg, Amy Jo Clark and Taylor Lynch. Not too far away from a start. It is the early game. And a little bit earlier this year as well. Of course, tip-offs. Last year, the midweek was 6:30 and 7:30. This year, 6 and 7. A little bit more family-friendly.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the Giants crowd love getting out. They're very loyal to the fan base is very loyal. So they're here nice and early, and they'll be ready for the big NBL game too.
Yeah, it'll be a packed stadium tonight once the Sal's NBL gets underway. Two good-looking uniforms as well. We always love to assess the uniforms with thanks to New Balance, the Sky Sport commentary team, and I've got to say I'm a big fan of the Saints this season.
I was about to say that pinstripe is nice. I'm a big fan of the pinstripe also. Also like the Giants baby blue. Hopefully it's good signs for a back-to-back Rapid League championship.
Just about set for a start here. It's been a hectic beginning to season 2025. 26 games in 20 days. And we are underway, opening possession to go the way of the Saints. Here's Caslow Evans Jr., of course, a former Giant himself. Back in familiar territory as Plumtree straight away looking to get busy. Somehow got a pass out to Pilcher, couldn't keep it in. And the Giants will get their opening possession of this one.
And there's those turnovers again. The Saints will really be trying to clean that up. They want to get on the board with that a whole lot better.
Of course, you saw Sky Broadband Rapid League for the very first time last year. This is the second season this world first innovation has been in the competition. Turnover for the Giants as Richards comes up quickly to Plumtree, forcing his way through. Loose ball, Saints are going to keep it. What do you make of this competition?
Yeah, look, I think I might have been one of the top 3 oldest guys actually playing Rapid League, but massive fan of it. I think it's a really good chance for players to experiment, play free, and that's why you're seeing this young talent come through.
Of course, all of the players you're seeing here in Rapid League are coming off the bench tonight in the Sal's NBL. That is the concept. And we're seeing some amazing young talent growing before our eyes. Let's see what the Giants can do here. Still looking for an opening score. That one is off for Lockie Crate. Of course, been with the Jets the last couple of seasons. The teenager. Speaking of teenagers, one of the very best, Hayden Jones. Little runner there, couldn't put it away. The Giants to go again. Off the hand of Jones, that one goes down.
There he is, and was a whole lot more confident shooting that 3-ball against the Rams in the actual NBL game, so good to see.
And he top scored for the Giants in the Sal's NBL last week as well. Plumtree carving his way through.
He is very confident on that left hand. He gets in to stop.
So opening basket for these two teams. Nice little touch there from Caslow Evans Jr.
And Evans Jr., he can be a real pest on defense. He likes getting up and in and has good hands, and you can see that there.
When he was with the Giants in 2023, GJ Gardner-Holmes replay here, that drive from Plumtree. Here's Jones, deep two. Yeah, when Caslow Evans Jr. was with the Giants in 2023, I was sitting in this exact chair commentating that game, and he got some late burn in the Sal's NBL. And I was pumping up his tyres and singing his praises, not knowing that his old man was sitting right beside me.
How good. Way to play that one. Yeah, that was against the Otago Nuggets. Oh, Jones. See you later.
Big block.
Yeah, Evans Jr., it was good fun to have as a teammate.
Hayden Jones getting busy at both ends of the floor. Here is Evans Jr.
Giants doing a good job walling up and making sure the Saints can't, as we see a foul there on Matthews. We're doing a really good job walling up and ensuring the Saints don't get out and running.
Just the age of some of these players. James Matthews, 17. Lockie Crate, 18. Hayden Jones, 18.
James Matthews, head boy at Nelson College too, so he's got a lot on his plate, but, you know, fronting up after a hard day on the tools at school and coming and putting out a performance.
I think it's one thing we have to remember with this young talent coming through the ranks here in New Zealand. These guys go to school tomorrow.
Yeah, tough. Likewise, except, I mean, not doing the study like they are.
Here's Caslow Evans Jr. Just lost a handle on it. And another turnover for the Saints. Scoring has been hard to come by in the opening 2.5 minutes. GJ Gardner-Holmes replay. Here is Evans Jr.
We see there, oh yeah. Thought maybe a deflection there, but you see Evans Jr. just lost the handle. Another turnover for the Saints.
Saints coaching staff, Chris Tupu in charge for the Saints. Phil Jones pacing the sidelines for the Giants. Of course, the assistant coaches from the Sal's NBL take over the head coaching duties in the Rapid League.
Great to see Chris Tupu back in Nelson as well. He was my first Giants coach when I first started, so good to see him back in TC.
Crate to Jones to Matthews. What a setup from the three teenagers. Unable to convert, though. Turnover, though. And here come the Giants. Running with numbers. Dougal Meter with the foul. And some good setup offensively, but importantly, Tom, defensively as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you see the Giants are really turning the Saints over a lot, and that is ultimately what is keeping the Giants in there right now, because the shots aren't falling, but they will if they continue to turn the ball over like that.
Caleb Chamberlain had 7 points last week in the Sky Broadband Rapid League.
Yeah, Chamberlain's been working a lot on his game over the summer, and, you know, the intent that he came out with in that Rams game, it definitely showed. So let's hope he keeps that going.
Drains both from the Chemist Warehouse stripe. The Giants with an early lead. We've seen the points rattle up very quickly in this competition, but this is a real dogfight at the moment.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Giants actually held the Rams to 3 points in their opening Rapid League half. So if they can continue that again as Dougal Meter shoots a three, that is dangerous territory out there for the Giants if he's shooting a three ball.
That's what he does so well. Maria Dougal Meter, 10 points last week. One of the best players in Rapid League last season. Inwood underneath, nowhere to go. Does draw a foul, though. All tied up, 42 seconds to play in this opening quarter. 4x4 minute quarters in Rapid League. I keep saying if you're new to it, feels like it's been around forever, but just the second season of this competition. Sal's NBL to come up at 7 p.m. local time tonight. here on the South Island in New Zealand. Good defence. Maybe Arthur Pilcher just stepping up into the body of Aston Inwood there.
Yeah, maybe Aston Inwood does such a good job at getting out of screens really early, and that's how he's so effective. He often catches the ball on short rolls, and as you see, goes a bit deeper and is a really good decision maker down there too. So able to draw the contact, needs to capitalise at the line.
Had a big season, didn't he, in the Rapid League in 2024, Aston Inwood?
Yeah, Asto's one of those guys that he does all the little things that sometimes you may not see, but as you see there, he looks to attack. Ooh, maybe the arm's going over the top, maybe a bit rough. But, yeah, Inwood does a fantastic job creating motion for his teammates, and he's a great guy to have on your team.
Had 22 points in a Rapid League game last season. Giants have kept it here. They've done well off the offensive glass. Nice little hand in there from Luca Richards. Ball comes out to Chamberlain for three.
There you go. Caleb Chamberlain again starting to make his mark on this game. There'll be a great confidence booster for him.
Former Giant star Tommy Ingham joining us in commentary this season on Sky Sport. Foul called mid-court. Dying seconds here, 14 seconds to play in this opening quarter. Of course, BNZ player timeouts. Both teams have one apiece per half. No coach timeouts in Rapid League. I think the players enjoy that, actually.
Yeah, I think so too, because it just generates flow in a game, and you're not really stopping. You're out there doing it, and that's what it's all about.
Here's Caslow Evans Jr. That's well short. Pilcher did well to keep it into Dougal Meter right on the buzzer at quarter time. He's drained a couple of threes in the opening term, and that's a handy basket for the Saints. They bring it back to a point deficit. 9-8, scoring hard to come by, but Dougal Meter, that big three, timely.
Yeah, that is not a good sign for the Giants. I think obviously a bit hard with the Evans Jr. air ball with the offensive rebound kick out, but if Dougal Meter is getting open looks, not a good look for the Giants and fantastic for the Saints, so they'll be happy with that.
Tom, we talked to you about the innovation of Rapid League. And just before I talk about player timeouts, let's talk about large pepperonis, because it is my favourite at Sal's, $29.99. That's this week's super special in the Sal's NBL. There's the online code, the QR code, that's available until next Tuesday. It is top of my list, the large pepperoni.
I can get around that. That looks pretty tasty on that screen. Might be stopping there on the way home.
Now, I want to ask you about the BNZ player timeouts, but before I do that, jeez, I can't get to it. $50 a month for the first 12 months, the FIBA starter, with thanks to Sky Broadband. That is a fantastic offer available to the end of June. skybroadband.co.nz or call 09525 5555, $50 a month for the first 12 months. That is a beauty. Now I'll get to the BNZ player timeouts. Another innovation. You've just come off the court as a player. What have you made of it?
Yeah, I love the player timeout. I mean, obviously it takes a wee bit of time and training to really talk about what moves you are going to go to and what situation. You know, we definitely had a couple of plays last year, so those player timeouts are a really good way to, I guess, for players to be an extension of coaches. And, yeah, I really like the concept.
And there's some players who extend their coaching nous, IQ, really well, don't they?
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, Cam Glidden coming into the Tuatara as well, so guys that have played previously are becoming great coaches.
Back underway, Giants by one. A real arm wrestle unfolding tonight. These two teams were up amongst the top three in Rapid League in 2024. Early foul called there. And a really important one tonight in the Sal's NBL, both the Saints and the Giants coming up off an opening game loss.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Saints game, two very contrasting games. The Saints game, epic, double overtime. And then the Giants, they'll be pretty disappointed with their performance, but it's good deflection there. Oh.
Yeah, I think that did come off Hayden Jones last. That's well picked up by Corey Hogg. Yep, we had a really good view of that.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously two contrasting games, but the Giants in particular on the home floor didn't go too well last year, so they'll really be looking to bump that up.
What were they, 2 of 9 last year at home? Did they lose 7?
2 of 8, Justin. I'm trying to forget it personally, but...
Plumtree off the glass, draws contact, he's off to the Chemist Warehouse coach, Chris Tupu. Very happy with that. His young charge, GJ Gardner-Holmes replay. And he's a handful, isn't he?
Yeah, he really is. He really gets his nose onto the rim. You see there the nice spin move, going with the right, showing the ability to finish with both hands. And I think he's going to continue to be a problem for the Wellington Saints.
First one is good. Busy times in the Sal's NBL. Mad March. Panthers and the Bulls tomorrow night. Panthers' first ever home game in South Auckland at Pullman Arena. And the Hawks and the Nuggets also battle Friday night action in the Sal's NBL tomorrow. Great start to the season for the Hawks.
I tell you what, Jackson Ball is just showing that he is going to be a big problem in this league. Even when the likes of Dan Greeter and company turn up, he's still going to be a massive impact. Great to see Inwood shooting the three. I know that's what Coach Fitchett wants him to be doing.
Mounier into the action with some speed for the Saints. Just a little bit too much on it in the end. Tied up at 9 apiece. Good double team there on Hayden Jones.
Yeah, Mounier is really bringing that energy, and that's really important in Rapid League because the game's so fast. When you check in, it's really important that you keep the momentum and everything going, and he's done a fantastic job of that so far.
You're saying Jackson Ball is going to be a handful in this competition. I reckon he might be a handful in a few other competitions over the next 15 or so years.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a name we are hearing for quite a long time. Yeah, he's been very impressive.
76 points in his opening 2 games of the season, Jackson Ball. Quite remarkable. Dougal Meter heads up. Caslow Evans Jr. always speedy up the floor. Now, Dougal Meter's already hit a couple of threes. This time he gets on the drive. Good defense. Mounier, that's well short. Heke underneath, just creates some space. The young man did really well there. He's rewarded, and he's off to the Chemist Warehouse.
Yeah, great job. Way to initiate that contact, get to the line, and obviously a great chance for everyone to slow down in what's been such a frantic game. See Will Blight, a bit unlucky with the air ball, but probably needs to do a better job at putting a body on, and then obviously going to the line for 2.
Tyrell Cage Heke puts the first one down. A little bit like the Giants, Tom, the Saints are another program in the Sal's NBL in this Rapid League. They're developing a lot of local talent, aren't they?
Yeah, and I love the way they play. You see they're very selfless in how they play for each other. They get after it. The energy you can already see in this game is fantastic as Jones loses control. Plumtree coming back down now.
Yeah, mark that down to Plumtree for a block. Mounier out to Caslow Evans Jr., unable to convert. And this game all of a sudden has picked up pace. End to end. Blight out to the corner. Was there contact there? No whistle. And in the end, just stepping on the line, Chamberlain. I mentioned that Phil Jones listed as the coach of the Giants. Looks like Tommy Gargulio's doing most of the coaching here tonight.
Yeah, Tommy G, his Rapid League record last year was exceptional. I think maybe only 1 loss, and that was versus the Otago Nuggets. So he's got the reins tonight.
So you're saying he's told Phil Jones to take a seat?
I mean, I'm sure he hasn't told Phil Jones to take a seat because I don't think many people would be doing that.
Blight with the foul there. And that's going to put the Saints back to the line. Let's have a look at the replay here. Again, Plumtree. There's the foul. Loves the spin move, doesn't he, this young man?
Yeah, very comfortable, obviously going to his left for a start, and if the defender's able to cut him off, he really gets to that well, and he looks very confident shooting that.
A couple of results already this week. Lots of midweek games to start the season. Tuesday night, the Airs and the Jets. What a battle that was in the Sal's NBL. The Jets on the road getting home by 9. Impressive. It was a real arm wrestle as well. Owen Foxwell was a late withdrawal for the Airs with a neck injury, we believe. And a foul under the basket here. And then, of course, last night, the Phi. What a start to the season for the Tauranga Phi. 2 wins, 1 loss. Took down the Nuggets 97-82. And a Todd Withers sighting last night. Great to see Todd Withers back playing a few games this season.
Fantastic to see Todd Withers. He's made an impact for the Nuggets, obviously their championship winning season in 2022, and he adds a whole lot of experience and depth to that team.
Heke back at the Chemist Warehouse, drains the first, and Saints all of a sudden have opened up a 4-point lead. Giants, one of the highest scoring teams in the Sky Broadband Rapid League, just finding it tough to come by at the moment.
Yeah, I think the Saints have really showed Really looking to put some pressure. You see Munier up the floor right now, putting some pressure on Matthews. And that's ultimately held the Giants to 9 points as Matthews going to the Chemist Warehouse line for 2.
Yeah, just riding his hip there, young Heke. And that will put James Matthews to the stripe. Other games coming up this week in the Sal's NBL and the Rapid League as well. We mentioned the Panthers and Bulls and Hawks and Nuggets tomorrow night. Just the single game on Saturday, the Rams and the Sharks. Sharks coming off an opening game win as well. And how about this? If you're an Aucklander, you've got 3 back-to-back games to choose from on Sunday. It's been a long time since we've ever talked about 3 back-to-back games in Auckland in the Sal's NBL. All the action starts at midday and goes into the evening. Bulls at home to the Hawks, Tuatara at home to the Airs. That'll be a ripper. And the Panthers at home to the Jets. Take your pick, Tom.
Oh, I tell you what, if you're from Auckland, I'll be getting to as many of them as you possibly can. Exciting times for New Zealand NBL. Great D from Will Blight. Really goes vertical well, and you see that there.
Margin at 3. Battling away, well done. Will Blight finishing it off.
And Will Blight's a guy that he may not look like he's impacting the box score, but his ability to get out and hard show and on-ball screen defense really impacts the other team's offense.
Another local out of Waimea College. 206 centimetres, Will Blight.
Great school, Waimea College.
Do you know any teachers there, Tommy?
Yeah, still know a couple. It's my old alma mater, stomping ground. So, always got to talk good about Waimea.
Great to have Tom Ingham with us in commentary this year. Let's see what the Giants can do here. That's exactly what they needed, Lockie Crate.
And that's it. That's Matthews getting into the paint and really sucking in the defense, and then all of a sudden, open threes. That's a great shot for Crate.
Some back-to-back baskets for the Giants. They take the lead by 2. BNZ player timeout called by Evans Jr. Just over 9 seconds to play.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they come up with here. I always like seeing the after timeout calls, and it's really interesting to the players as well. See what they can come up with, see if they can execute. So let's see what the Saints can do.
Ticket to the big game with thanks to BNZ. It is back for season 2025. Scan that QR code for a chance to win tickets to the Sal's NBL this season. Every time we have a BNZ player timeout, that QR code comes up. All you got to do is put your details down and you're in with a chance with thanks to BNZ. What a fantastic program that is. Inspiring the next generation of basketballers. Let's see what the Saints can do late here. Evans Jr. nowhere to go. Creates a basket in the end. Clever stuff. Good patience, good footwork.
Yeah, great job from Evans Jr. You know, Kaz gets in the lane. You know, obviously not very big in terms of build, but he does a really good job at, you know, creating contact and is able to finish there through contact. So good finish from him.
Well, you spent a season with him. We're going to get one bonus here, and with 1.8, you'd expect the Giants to also use their BNZ player timeout. Off the rebound. And that clock's going to come down a little bit. Have the Saints kept it here? I think they have.
Unfortunate. No BNZ player timeout for the Giants. I'm seeing Dougal Meter check into the game. I'm expecting a turnout 3 for him.
Well, round he comes. Dougal Meter gets the ball. In fact, in the end, unable to control it, and that'll do us to the half. So all locked up in the Sky Broadband Rapid League, 16 apiece. Really good battle between these two teams. Not high scoring. We always expect them to rattle on the points, the Saints and the Giants, but this one, more of a defensive game, Tom, and probably more importantly, two teams that are just struggling to hold possession at the moment.
Yeah, and that is what is impacting the game. But I think, obviously, the turnovers aren't ideal, but at the same time, the defensive pressure from both teams, it's persistent, and you're ultimately seeing what's happening here with that 16-all scoreline.
Well, let's have a look at the Chemist Warehouse stats to the half. Of course, Chemist Warehouse, the official stats partner of the Sky Broadband Rapid League. Dougal Meter with a couple of threes in that opening quarter. Chamberlain's been good as well. Yeah,
Chamberlain has been good, and like we were talking about before, it's really great to see him continue to build in confidence. As you see there on the rebounds, Will Blight really making his presence felt down there. Dougal Meter with 3 rebounds for himself too, having an impact on multiple aspects of the game. So yeah, it has really been fantastic. James Matthews there with 2 assists, and then obviously one there for Evans Jr., Pilcher, Munier, and Jones in there too. It's a couple of good blocks as well from Jones and Plumtree. So multiple people having an impact on the game, and that's what you like to see.
All of the stats with thanks to Chemist Warehouse. Halftime here in the GJ Gardner Homes contest. 16 apiece. All locked up. And the Sal's NBL Thursday night hoops coming your way from 7 p.m. local time here in Nelson. Big crowd expected, as always, with the Saints in town to take on the Giants. Recently retired, of course. Tom, how difficult was that decision, mate?
It wasn't. I mean, I obviously would have loved to play another season. With me being 140 games, I thought, why not get to 150? But the fact that I was biking about 7K on the sideline every day just trying to get through a game, it was like, what are we doing here? I mean, it's probably a good time to call it quits and maybe spit some chat on the mic.
Doing all right at the moment, mate. Doing very, very well. Of course, you copped a nasty knee injury a couple of years ago, and that was a tough gig, wasn't it? Tough one to come back from. Yeah,
it really was. I mean, it was probably at a place in my career where I was pretty happy with how things were going, and you know, but that's basketball, and you know, the process was a massive learning one, but got a couple more seasons, can't complain.
Just reading a stat earlier on today as the third quarter gets underway here. Saints in possession through Plumtree. Gives it up to Dougal Meter. Fires over the top of Jones and puts it down. 3 threes in this game for Dougal Meter. Reading a stat earlier today, Sammy Dempster, take out the 2020 showdown when he was unavailable due to work. He has not missed a season here with the Giants since 2008.
Yeah, Sammy D, we call him the Mayor of Stoke. That man is an absolute icon in Nelson, and I mean, what he's given to Nelson basketball is the turnover there is massive. So Sam Dempster, the man.
Going to see him out here again tonight for the Giants. Leading the way, the skipper, Evans Jr. Floats it inside to Luca Richards, and a couple of big baskets here for the Saints to start the third quarter.
Yeah, great finish there from Richards. Really took the time, got set, got Will Blight in the air, and then finished through the high hand.
Defensively at the moment, the Saints are just forcing this very talented Giants team into some tough decisions.
Yeah, they really are. And I mean, obviously, everything went well for the Giants in that first game against the Rams. Now they're challenged with a bit of adversity. It's a great move there from Crate, able to finish it. But yeah, a bit of adversity, being challenged. So this will be really good for them, and let's see how they pull back in the second half.
Here's Evans Jr. Had a wonderful year last year in the Rapid League, and that is an excellent pass to Richards, who's fouled on the way up to the basket.
Great look from Evans Jr. Evans Jr., I think he may have been the leader in assists in the Rapid League last year, and you see right there, able to get into the paint, crafty handle, dump off. Could have been a poster on Will Blight.
As we mentioned earlier, you spent a year with this man, Caslow Evans Jr. He was with the Saints in 2023. Tell us a little bit about him.
Yeah, Kaz came down after I think he'd been in Adelaide playing in NBL 1 over there, and Caslow Evans Sr. I've known for a while. So it was really good to meet Kaz Jr. And with us, he was obviously trying to work his way up in terms of the roster. We had a couple of injuries. He got his chance at the back end of the season. And, you know, I'm really glad for him that, you know, he's gone to the Saints and he's seen a role in that backup point guard role. And then Rapid League, he's really shining with that All-Star 5 selection last year.
You'll see a little bit of him tonight as well in the Sal's NBL, playing in behind Sean Bruce. He won a championship secondary school nationals in 2019, Caslow Evans Jr. And his coach back then is now his coach again, Aaron Young.
Yeah, I think Alex McNaught featured in that team too. So you had a few St. Kitts boys there as Chamberlain for 3. Great look.
And Richards cleaning up off the glass. Saints by 3 midway through this third quarter here tonight. Again, Evans Jr. with the pass underneath, and how about Arthur Pilcher?
Yeah, great cut. Seen, I think it was Chamberlain there, was watching the ball. Caslow Evans Jr. has his fingerprints all over this game right now.
Just everywhere, isn't he? Filling up the Chemist Warehouse stat sheet. He goes again. Inside, another dime. Yes, indeed. Richards puts it down. He'll get the bonus at the Chemist Warehouse. But Lift your lid and dip your hat to Caslow Evans Jr.
Yeah, I tell you what, he is really, like we're saying, he's making a massive impact on this game. The patience he has coming off on-ball screens, you see there, puts the defender to sleep, pops it over. Richards again with another tough finish. That's a nice pick-and-roll combo there for the Saints.
4 assists already in this one tonight for Caslow Evans Jr. Richards converts. And the Saints have put the foot down. They're out by 8. So some question marks now for the reigning champs in the Sky Broadband Rapid League. Let's see what the Nelson Giants can do from here. Chamberlain sends it out. That'll help. Matthews.
Big hit from James Matthews, and it's really good to see him confidently shooting the 3. You know, at high school level, he does that regularly, so it's good to see this happening in Rapid League too.
Needed that. Now can they stand up defensively? Mounier. Left to right, young man, all the way to the cup.
Tough move from Mounier. Really put James Matthews to sleep. That cross right to left. Tough finish.
Turns 20 years of age next week, Hassan Mounier. Here's Hayden Jones elevating. Unable to finish. Loose ball. Fall back into the hands of Jones. Of course, off to Wisconsin to join the Badgers after this season.
With his mate Jackson Bull, and it's another season's time. It's awesome to see Kiwis getting out there and going to the big schools in college. Oh,
well, who do you put the block down to there? Because they were all amongst it. Richards with the finish.
Yeah, well, Chamberlain and Nimwood, good mates too. I'm sure they'll be arguing about that one later on. I'll give it to Chamberlain just purely on his hops and understanding that he probably got high enough. Let's have a look here. Oh, that's Jones there. Oh, no, I stand corrected. I'll give that one to Hayden Jones.
So Jones with the block, Richards with the finish. And Luca Richards has created a few headaches tonight for the Giants. 7 points for him, a couple of rebounds and a couple of steals as well on the Chemist Warehouse stat sheet. Of course, a pickup for the Saints from the Manawatu Jets. Luca Richards battled some injuries, hasn't he, over the last few years? Still 20 years of age. Career high of 16 points in a Sal's NBL game last season against the Tuatara.
Yeah, really good for Richards, you know, come into that Jets program where he's going to get, at that stage, a whole lot of burn, get himself confident at the NBL level. And for a lot of guys, all it takes is 1 or 2 games where, you know, you see a couple of shots go in, you start to feel a bit more confident, and that ultimately translates and pushes on throughout your career.
You mentioned, of course, 140 Sal's NBL games in your own career, Tom. Can you remember the first one? Can you remember game number 1?
Game number 1, so I ran out of the changing rooms and I was so excited. I was about 40 metres ahead of everyone else, and it was actually Phil Jones and Tony Rampton saying, Ingy,
slow down.
Yeah, take a breath, mate. Yeah, so that was one of the more embarrassing moments, but blown layup and a rebound, I think, with my stats, so can't complain too much.
I don't know that a blown layup actually goes onto the stat sheet, mate, but I like the fact that you've given it a mention.
Yeah, I mean, people were here to see it. No doubt there's some Giants fans still here, so better keep it honest.
You mentioned Phil Jones as Aston Inwood heads to the Chemist Warehouse stripe. Is he the best player you've run around with? Sammy Dempster, you obviously played a lot of basketball with Sammy D.
I mean, yeah, I think probably it has to go to Phil Jones. I mean, he was someone when I was a kid in Nelson, like Phil Jones, he was essentially, obviously, he's the Reefton kid, but he was also probably the mayor of Nelson with the impact, as Inwood makes that free throw, with the impact he made with basketball, not only in Nelson, but in New Zealand and even worldwide to some extent.
I walked in here late today to prepare for tonight, and I've got to say Phil Jones was shooting hoops, and he did not miss.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I think he's only just retired from club basketball, but he was undoubtedly still putting up 40-point games regularly, and a bit of smack talk. Oh, great block there from Heke.
You know what I'd love to see as Jones finishes underneath? 5 seconds to play in this third quarter. Inwood does well, unable to keep it in though, so 0.8. And the Saints are going to get a late shot up here, you would think. They're going to have to be pretty clever. They lead by 5. I've got a challenge I'm going to put out at 3-quarter time. So just sit tight for a second, Tom. We're going to put a challenge out in just a moment. 0.8 to play in this third quarter. Got to be quick. Plumtree on the turnaround. It's the iron, but that's about it. And the margin's at 5 with a quarter to play in the Sky Broadband Rapid League tonight. Been a good contest between these two, as you would expect. Rightio, here's the challenge. Now, Sky Broadband Rapid League, of course, we see a lot of young players coming through, but we see some older players as well, teaching these youngsters. How about we put the challenge out for the Giants to contract Phil Jones for one game this season, and he plays Sky Broadband Rapid League with his son? How good would that be? I reckon they would absolutely pack this stadium here if they had Phil Jones and Hayden Jones before he goes to college to run around and play a Rapid League game together.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's already retired about 9 times, so why not come out for one more, make it 10?
There we go.
I can get around it. And I'll tell you what, I'm sure he would still get a couple of buckets, but coming off that hip surgery, I think he might be a bit shaky the next day.
Can you get the word out around Nelson? Can you make that happen?
Yeah, I'm sure we can do that. I mean, I know this crowd would absolutely pack out to see the Reefton kid come and stroke another couple threes.
Well, I'll tell you what all of Reefton should be doing right now. They should be getting onto skybroadband.co.nz. $50 a month for the first 12 months. The FIBA starter with thanks to Sky Broadband. Get in and save. And you can watch the Sky Broadband Rapid League with that one. I'm going to leave that one with you.
Yeah, right, mate.
Get it done.
Yep, say less.
I'd love to see that happen. 1 quarter to play here tonight. Sal's NBL to come. Going to be a big matchup. Both teams, the Giants and the Saints, searching for their opening win of the Sal's NBL season. Right now, though, this one is up for grabs. 5 in it. What are your thoughts here with 4 minutes to play?
Yeah, well, I see that score started to bump up a wee bit in that third quarter. So both teams starting to do a better job of taking care of the ball. But then now it's coming down. Can you get eyes? There we go. Commentator's curse. First one. Cheers.
And Plumtree to finish at the other end. Gee, Richards was floating through as well. Maybe one avoided there for the Giants. And they'll make them pay. Will Blight finishes off an Aston inward pass.
Great job from Will Blight running the floor. That's what you're... And rewarded with the dunk.
And we're back to 3. So the Giants right in this. Evans Jr. on the drive, on the turnaround. That one's going to be short. Look who's underneath. Richards. Good defense in the end from Blight.
Great job smothering. That's what Will Blight does. He plays extremely vertical, and that makes him be a fantastic defender.
Jones leaves it short over Plumtree. 3 minutes to play. You'd expect these two teams are going to be right in the mix this season.
Jones is probably lucky there. Dougal Meter, he's not a guy you want to let catch and shoot threes like that.
He's already hit 3 of them. Matthews around Blight. Oh, somehow just found a way through. Sneaky stuff in the end.
Great rebound by Dougal Meter. Got up there amongst the bigs and snatched that in. But yeah, James Matthews, very shifty. Can get into the lane very easy.
On the drive again, Evans Jr. Pilcher just slid at the wrong time. Has to be helped back to his feet. I think the Saints are going to keep it here.
Yeah, Pilcher maybe got away with a walk there in terms of turning that corner and lifting his pivot foot. But good to see him being aggressive and got the contact, got the foul.
As the season rolled on last year in the Rapid League, of course, the Giants won the inaugural championship. You were a part of that. Oh, Evans Jr. handy. And look at this again. Luca Richards underneath. Strong stuff. Still battling away. Blight in the end comes up with it. And I think the Saints are going to keep it here, are they? Bartercard officials have a chat, and they will keep it. You were a part of that inaugural championship, Tom. As the season went on and a championship was there for the taking, just take us behind the scenes.
Yeah, I mean, it was quite cool. We were called the Rapidos was our nickname, and one great move by Pilcher, it looks like.
Strong drive, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. In terms of, yeah, we were called the... Oh, a technical foul has been...
That's going to be on the Giants bench. There's the replay of the Pilcher drive to the basket, but there is a technical foul.
I think that might have been Phil Jones. Phil Jones with the technical foul, as we see him on screen there. That's a sign that that man wants to get back on the court, so I think we can definitely get around that.
Take us back to the championship.
So, I mean, the Rapidos, it was... At first, it kind of looked like, that it may be a possibility to go on. We are obviously with about 3 games left. I think the last one was the Sharks, and yeah, it was a close game with them. They made a big comeback, and I was like, oh, may not be our time, but then got there in the end, and with 3 games to spare, so yeah, it was cool to be the first ones, and might not be a banner up there, but there's one in the team room, so can't complain.
Is there?
Yeah, there is. But I mean, it's kind of like the Lakers in the NBA Cup. Like if you raise that on the rafters in terms of at the TC, yeah, it might get some questionable looks around the league. But it's a good thing to remember for our team, for sure, in our own space.
Now we've got a break here, and maybe a break across the nose for Aston Inwood. Sits down with blood streaming from his nose from some contact under the basket. So hopefully he's good to go in the Sal's NBL game. Shot clock counting down here, down to 5. Richards underneath, nowhere to go. Blight again off the glass.
Yeah, Will Blight has really done a good job down there securing those defensive rebounds. It's a heck of a battle with Richards at the moment, who's also doing the same thing.
Giants have got to come up with something here. Down by 5, just under 2 to play. Matthews has been good, sends it back out to Crate. A little bit of indecision, draws contact, maybe a little bit fortuitous there.
Yeah, Chamberlain with the up fake, looking to attack on the right.
Chamberlain, I should say, yep.
Yeah, creating that contact again. These are big free throws for the Giants. Put it into a potential one-possession game.
Got to put these away. Caleb Chamberlain at the Chemist Warehouse. First one is good, never in doubt.
Wee bit of nervous energy in the TC right now. When it comes to the Rapid League, they're accustomed to seeing their team winning, so let's see how they can push in this last wee bit.
This one, in and out.
Gets his own rebound.
Did well, and they go again here, the Giants. A basket is going to make things very interesting. Matthews. Chamberlain sends it back out to Matthews for 3. Here we go, Giants.
And we got a ball game. Matthews, big bucket.
And we're back to 1. Now let's see if the Saints can respond. Plumtree, nice little hand in there. Did well, Chamberlain. Turnover. No, they get it back, the Giants.
Pinball out here. Oh, walk into another one. James Matthews.
Wide open.
Not.
Back to back. And all of a sudden, this crowd, as it grows ahead of the Sal's NBL contest tonight, finds some voice. GJ Gardner-Holmes replay.
I love seeing that. James Matthews, after hitting one, striding into another one, confident, bang, bang.
And now over to the Saints. Evans Jr., Plumtree, just strong in the end. Draws a foul.
Yeah, great job again there from Plumtree. I think Will Blight probably a wee bit guilty with the contact, put his arms down, and Plumtree able to go up into his arms.
Both teams still have their BNZ player timeout, so they will become important here. Now, Aston Inwood stepping back onto the floor. He's got a new singlet on. Just returned from that blood nose. You'll see he's wearing number 41 now, Aston Inwood.
James Matthews now with 11 points. What's that, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Really putting his mark on this game too. Great point guard battle with him and Evans Jr.
Got to love it when you've got a blood nose or a broken nose and you come back out with both nostrils fully stuffed, and the Sky Sport camera operators just want to close right in and show the world what's going on.
Yeah, I tell you what, Aston Inwood, he's tough as nails. He isn't afraid for a bit of contact. And that does not surprise me that Inwood's out there getting stuck in like that.
Plumtree drains both from the Chemist Warehouse. So we're tied up at 34 apiece. If it does go to overtime, 1 minute is the overtime period in Rapid League. Straight back to the centre for a jump ball, and off we go. Still a long way to go in this one. 40 seconds. Jones around the Inwood screen. Elevates deep 2. That one off to the left. Pilcher with the rebound, and now the Saints a chance to take the lead. Evans Jr., Pilcher. Now Plumtree on the spin, mid-air. Battle off the iron, loose ball, and the Giants come up with it.
Great job there by the Giants to secure that heck of a battle. I tell you what, Plumtree just about did a Tony Hawk 180, nearly put that thing in. That was an impressive move.
I'm not sure that he quite knew what he was doing. It was impressive, but
Very impressive.
He was floating, wasn't he? 34 apiece, just under 15 seconds to play. Now, BNZ player timeouts are going to be crucial here. The Giants want to use it.
They're not aware.
Oh, and they've used it. So with 14.8, it'll actually reset to 14. Sorry, it'll stay at 14.8. So they may have opened up a bit of an opportunity for the Saints there. May have been better to bring it in.
Yeah, I think that was the plan. It seemed like that was, but the Giants just weren't aware that the ball needed to be inbounded. So we'll see if they capitalise here.
Ticket to the big game. There's the QR code. Your chance to win tickets to the NZNBL this season with thanks to BNZ, inspiring the next generation of basketballers right across New Zealand. The BNZ ticket to the big game. Here we go. Let's see what the Giants can do. There will be time left on the clock for the Saints. Jones. Dougal Meter defensively.
Aston Inwood.
Back to Jones. Nice up fake. And the shot off the glass doesn't go down. Underneath. Aston Inwood.
I don't know if that hit the rim. I do not think that hit the rim, but it'll be interesting to see what the refs come up with here.
Well, we're probably going to get a good shot of it on the GJ Gardner-Holmes replay. We'll check that out. Here we go. And this is the other angle from underneath the basket. What do you think?
Oh, I would say probably not, but it probably didn't hit the rim, but it's not really the best angle in terms of with the padding there. So, you know, these are the ones I was always happy to be a player and not a ref, that's for sure.
Well, let's see what the Barter card officials come up with here. We'll have another look at it from this angle. Did this hit the ring? They're saying yes.
I can see why in terms of the reflection of the backboard, but that's me trying to get a bit scientific and a bit tricky.
So those points are going to count to Aston Inwood. So the officials have determined that it did graze the iron, and that is going to count for 2. Now, there's going to be some time on the clock here. I think it's going to be 0.4. In fact, 1 second is being added, is it? Well, a foul's been called, has it? No, it's not a foul. It's just the shot is counted. There was no contact underneath. So it's going to be 0.4 we're hearing, Tom.
0.4 on the clock. That, I mean, maybe a quick catch and shoot, but I expect something to curl, get on the rim.
Well, it'll be a player timeout. That's the first thing. So BNZ player timeout called by the Saints. So they're going to advance here. If you're new to the BNZ player timeout, only the players on the floor can come together. No bench interaction, no substitutions. Can't talk to the coaches, and you advance the ball. That is the most critical part of this, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure, and obviously it gives the Saints a chance to either tie or win the game. I anticipate it might be a wee bit hard to get a catch and shoot off in 0.4, but what I'm expecting here is maybe a plum tree curl, looking at a potential lob. I can expect a screen from Richards maybe to open him up.
It can't be a catch and shoot at 0.4, so it's got to be some sort of a tip. Let's see what the Saints come up with. Down by 2.
I think Plumtree's the man to watch, looking at him high.
And if anything here, they're going to the basket. Can't do it from outside. It'd be a miracle if they do. Let's have a look. Underneath. Oh, Richards wide open. Oh. The Saints so close to pulling off a miracle there. Good setup. But in the end, the Giants have stormed home, Tom Ingham, and they've won it by 2.
I tell you what, that's really great to see the boys show a bit of resilience in terms of that fight back. I think James Matthews, he's a guy that you really want to look at in that situation. Hit some massive shots, getting some stops down the defensive end. Giants get the job done.
And what about Aston Inwood? From what we can see, maybe a broken nose, steps back out and hits the go-ahead basket. Here's that last play. And you can see what the Saints were thinking there. Not far away. Would have been still tough to tip that in.
But it's a great slip there. It was looking like you had the Dougal Meter coming off the curl. Richards read that his man took that step to Dougal Meter, made a great slip. Just wasn't quite executed. But good look for the Saints.
Let's have a quick look at the Chemist Warehouse stats from tonight's Rapid League game. And Matthews the star in the end.
Yeah, James. To see him, he made waves in the Rapid League last year, so great to see him with 11 points again. Dougal Meter with his 3 threes. As we go to the rebound, you see Will Blight really making his impact, with Jones there as 6 as well. Richards and Dougal Meter both making an impact at that end too, which is fantastic to see. Caslow Evans Jr., you see there with the assist, really able to get into the lane, generate some action. James Matthews as well with 3, and then Hayden Jones, the guard, showing that he can also block shots. Go to steals. Richards again, the physicality down low really made an impact on that game. So overall, great game of Rapid League. Expected nothing less.
So the reigning champs have started with a couple of wins in 2025. Sky Broadband Rapid League, a 2-point thriller tonight. The Giants getting up over the Saints 36-34. Nick Mazinski warming up with Aaron Young for the Saints. Nick Marshall there in the distance as well. Big one coming up tonight. Both teams coming off an opening game loss. It's going to be on Thursday Night Hoops. Sounds NBL action. The Giants and the Saints. 7 p.m. local time here in New Zealand. We'll see you then.
Nelson Giants for 2025.
Perfect, thank you. Gentlemen, welcome onto the courts, your NBS Nelson Giants for 2025. Not sitting up tonight, but here in support, Cooper Adams, Cohen Williams. On the floor, James Matthews, Hayden Jones, Lockie Crate, Aston Edward, Will Blight, Caleb Chamberlain, Callum Thompson, Alex McNaughts, Liam Judd, Jalen Forbes, Bryce Johnson, and of course, your captain in his 17th year, Sam Dempster.
Kia ora everyone, no mai hara mai, hello and welcome. Thursday night hoops in the Sal's NBL, coming to you for the first time in season 2025 from the Trafalgar Centre, the hangar, the home of the three-time Sal's NBL champs, Nelson Giants. Tonight, they take on the 12-time champs, the Wellington Saints. Both of these teams coming off a first-up loss. It's going to be on. The fans are coming in and already enjoying the Sal's pizza as these two teams are introduced. Justin Nelson with you, sitting right alongside me, recently retired 140-game veteran with the Giants, Tommy Ingham. Great to catch up with you, mate. Welcome to the Sky Sport commentary team. Great to have you with us.
Yeah, cheers, Justin. To be honest, only a couple seats down from where I'm normally used to, but, you know, great to get on the commentary team and, you know, talk some hoops.
Well, there's the mixandpick.com poll. QR code is on your screen. It's fun and free. Just scan that code and have your say. We want to hear from you. Who's going to win tonight? 75%, Tom, going with the Saints.
Yeah, and I can understand why. Obviously, the Saints had that epic double overtime game. Although a loss, there was some really promising signs in terms of the pace they play with. And then obviously the Giants not having an ideal game against the Rams, but without a doubt, they're excited to get back home and get into it.
NBS Nelson Giants up against the Mills Albert Wellington Saints. Get in and have your say on the poll. Who do you think is going to win tonight? Well, let's have a look at the ladder as it stands at the moment, Tom. It's very, very early days, we must say, and there's a lot of plays and a lot of movement to happen across most teams. But to have a look up the top of the table right now, the Sharkies.
Really good to see. I mean, obviously Southland the last couple of years have struggled a wee bit, but they looked amazing against the Nuggets, and I think that's really exciting for Southland, the community, to get around them, and let's hope the Sharks can really put it on this season.
Hawks have had a great start as well behind the young 17-year-old Jackson Ball, the Bulls with a couple of wins. And the Fire, a good win last night over the Nuggets. As we flip over the page, the bottom half of the table, as it stands at the moment, of course, we're in the midst of 26 games in 20 days, mad march to start the season. The Airs have a split. We're interested in 8 and 9 tonight, both of these teams with an opening game loss. A lot at stake already.
Yeah, a lot at stake. I mean, the Giants will be fully aware that their home record last season was not up to scratch, being at 2-8. So they really have a point to prove in terms of what they can do at home. And the Saints, they never like losing, let alone losing 2 in a row. So I expect them to come out firing tonight. Liam
Judd, the former Jet, introduced to the Giants crowd. Let's have a look at the games coming up. And as I said, it is wall-to-wall basketball in the Sal's NBL. Panthers and Bulls coming up tomorrow night. First ever home game for the Panthers at Pullman Arena. They do have some more players incoming tomorrow night as well, so keep an eye on that. Hawks could make it 3 in a row.
Yeah, the Hawks by Hawks, they've definitely been an exciting team to watch. I mean, Jackson Ball is on an absolute tear right now, and seeing Campbell Scott step into an increased role, it's really exciting times with still 3 massive pieces in the Illawarra Hawks to add to that team.
One game coming up Saturday night, the Rams and the Sharks. The Bulls and the Hawks, that is the Rapid League tip-off time, 12 o'clock at Pukekohe at the Stockyard on Sunday. The Sal's NBL from 1 p.m. local time. Tuatara and the Airs also play Sunday afternoon. And then Sunday night, the Panthers take on the Jets. We have 3 back-to-back-to-back games in Auckland, believe it or not, on Sunday.
Yeah, really exciting for New Zealand basketball that we're getting so many games so often. I mean, the product is increasing in terms of the Sal's NBL, and it's making kids and the community really want to get into basketball. So this is fantastic.
Let's have a look at the Saints starters tonight. As you mentioned, that epic double overtime loss on Sunday in the capital city against the Airs. Same starters, Bruce, Liafa, Marshall, Harris and Mazinski. Mazinski with 6 blocks in that game against the Airs. In fact, the Saints have made no changes to their roster whatsoever. And I think that they will get a lot out of that opening game.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, if you can play in a double overtime game, that's great experience. But I look at that lineup, that is a star-studded lineup. A guy I'm really expecting to come out tonight and make some waves is Isaiah Liafa. You know, a fantastic shooter, fantastic scorer. Didn't have a great shooting night, but, you know, percentages always even out. So the Giants will be wary of him.
Yeah, shot 4 of 19 against the Airs and 1 of 9 from three-point land. If he goes 1 of 9 from three-point land tonight, I think the Giants are going to be very, very happy.
Yeah, 100%. This is a guy that hit the most threes in the NBL last year. 64, I believe, in only 14 games. So this is a man that can light it up and destroy you on any given night.
Coach, of course, is Aaron Young. Second game in charge tonight of the Wellington Saints. Tommy, you caught up with him a short time ago. Let's check in with Aaron Young.
Here with Wellington Saints coach Aaron Young. Aaron, obviously an epic double overtime battle with the Taranaki Airs. No doubt some sore bodies. What did you take out of that game and how are the boys pulling up?
Yeah, just lack of discipline to really close that game. You know, we had an opportunity there, and you know, that's a good lesson to learn early. You know, you don't want to have those moments where you've got an opportunity to close out a game or close out a team, especially on your home floor. So, yeah, tough one to swallow, but, you know, we move on and we get ready for tonight's matchup.
And obviously you got the Giants tonight, their home opener. No doubt they're a bit bigger and stronger this year in comparison to last year. What are you looking for your boys to get out of the boys to head into this game?
Yeah, just, I mean, level of execution, it's always going to, you know, take some time, and then Giants will be the same. You know, we're still early in the process. We're still getting a feel for, you know, where we want the ball, where, you know, the spots that we want to fill. So there's going to be some growing pains early, but, you know, I think learning quick on the fly. We've had a good week. We know that this is going to be an intense matchup, and Giants, you know, always at home, you know, bring a level of intensity that, you know, you got to match. So it's fun. You know, we're excited about this and ready to go.
Cheers, Aaron. All the best for tonight.
So there's Aaron Young, coach of the Saints. Isaiah Liafa, the man we've been talking about through the pre-game. Can the Saints get their opening win of the season tonight?
Yeah, well, look, they'll really be looking to go for it. I think if the Giants have anything to say about it, they want to make some inroads and put the Saints to 0-2, but it is very rare to see a Saints team lose 2 in a row, so it should be an absolute barn burner here.
Second youngest ever tall black debutant as well, Isaiah Liafa. Just feels like he's been going around for years and years.
Well, I tell you what, actually when I was with the Otago Nuggets, a young Isaiah Liafa hit a 3 over me, checking in the last 2 minutes of the game. I think that was his first NBL point, so somewhat my claim to fame, I guess.
You got him there. You started him off anyway.
Yeah, poor defense, we'll claim it.
Let's have a look at the Giants starters tonight. They're coming off that loss to the Rams. McNaught, Forbes, Judd, Dempster and Bryce Johnson. And I reckon they too would have taken a lot of lessons from that opening game. It just felt flat, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Giants will be a bit disappointed too because they, for the first time in a long time, they had their full contingent. But I think the Rams got out and really put some pressure on them early. And ultimately, they tried to make that comeback and look good in doing so. But I think it'll be a different kettle of fish tonight for Forbes, Johnson having games under their belt. Should be good.
7 seasons in charge for Coach Mike Fitchett, your former coach. Now he's talking to you as a Sky Sport commentator. This will be a bit of fun. Here's Mike Fitchett.
Here with Nelson Giants coach Mike Fitchett. Fitch, unlucky result down in Canterbury. Things didn't quite go to plan. What's the big takeaways from that game?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't say luck. We made a bit of our own luck there, and Rams played really well. We didn't match their effort and intensity. Certainly looking to pick that up this week. We'll spend a bit of time executing our things, making a few changes, trying to get on the same page. So we'll see. Proof will be in the pudding on the floor.
And the Wellington Saints come into your house tonight, obviously perennial contenders every year. What's the game plan heading into this one to try to get the win?
Yeah, can we slow down Hiram Harris? You know, always an MVP candidate and really straw that stirs their drink a little bit. But then they've got a very, very talented guard lineup with Bruce, Liafa, Marshall. So, you know, it's going to be a tough game. We execute how we want to execute. We stick to our game plan. We'll be right in the contest.
Cheers, mate. All the best for tonight.
Thank you.
How did you two keep a straight face during that interview, Tom?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, it was nice to not get ripped out for taking some ill-advised shot and actually get spoken to in a decent manner. So, nah, a lot of love for Fitch. He's done a lot for me.
Coach Mike Fitchett leading the way again this season for the NBS Nelson Giants. Let's have a look at the Chemist Warehouse head-to-head for this one. In fact, we'll have a look at the barter card officials first. Marty Davison, Corey Hogg and Amy Jo Clark are our officials for this one. A little bit of a late start here as well. The Rapid League game went a couple of minutes overtime, so we're going to be off to a start about 2 minutes later than normal. Here is the Chemist Warehouse head-to-head. How about that point guard battle tonight, or that guard battle between Forbes and Liafa, the shooting guards? Top scorers Jones and Bruce from that opening game. Keep an eye on Nick Mazinski, 6 blocks against the Airs.
Yeah, Mazinski really put his fingerprints all over that game in terms of his rebounding and shot blocking. And I think with Bryce Johnson as well, obviously he's come with a very good resume, so it should be a really good battle tonight and a really good test for Bryce Johnson after coming back from injury.
And young Hayden Jones, the top scorer for the Giants last week with 17 points.
Yeah, look, Hayden's been incredibly impressive and he's worked very hard on his game over the summer, obviously getting ready to head off to Wisconsin, so it's really great to see him playing with confidence, but not only him, all the other young guys in this league. It's just fantastic to see.
And unlike a lot of teams in the competition at the moment, these two teams are pretty settled. They haven't got a lot of movement coming. Obviously, the Giants have Cal McRae still to come in, and that's a big to come in. The Saints have Shea Illy to come in. But outside of that, these are literally pretty much the rosters you're going to see for the season, aren't they?
Yeah, which is really, I think, really exciting that so early you're getting these teams here, because often there's a lot of, you're waiting for imports, you're waiting for other players to finish leagues. But the fact these two have pretty much got their teams settled and good to go, it's great that we can hit the ground running in this league.
Now, one of the changes on the New Balance uniforms this season, you'll see that gold sash just there on the left shoulder of most of the teams. There's a Premiership Cup or a Championship trophy that sits inside that, and a number. What the New Balance and the league have done this season is, for those teams that have won championships, that little gold patch there designates how many championships they've won in the 43-year history of the league. The Giants have a number 3, the Saints have a number 12.
Lovely touch. It's great. Obviously, respecting and acknowledging that history is a massive part of our game. So, good, great class act from New Balance.
Tom Ingham joining us this season in the Sky Sport commentary team. Great to have you with us. Very, very quickly, what do the Saints need to get right tonight, and what do the Giants need to get right tonight?
I think the big thing for the Saints is they'll obviously be looking at their turnovers for the start of the game. They're a wee bit frantic. They play with great pace, but they'll really be looking to make sure they utilise that pace and secure the ball. In terms of the Giants, I think the Saints will come out and look to hit in the mouth first. The Giants need to manage that, maintain that. And then I think the big thing is going to be rebounding. Right now, the lowest defensive rebounding percentage in the league. So with Mazinski there, they really need to put a body on him, get out and running. But it's going to be a really good test for the Giants on the home floor for their first game of the season.
Giants put up just 67 shots last week against the Rams. Saints put up 93, but they did play an extra 10 minutes. Let's not forget that. Double overtime against the Airs. Great to see one of the young fans out presenting the game ball. Always a big part of our games in the Cells NBL. Passing it over to the players. Knuckles there for Nick Mazinski. No, I think that might have been a fresh air.
And that is a young Fitchett right there.
It is too.
Yeah.
Mike just said, yeah. Well done, kid.
I think that was planned. That was planned.
Rightio, here we go. Thursday night hoops in the Cells NBL. Saints and the Giants, we're underway, and it'll be the Saints with the opening possession. Giants won the earlier Sky Broadband Rapid League 36-34. He's Sean Bruce had a great game on Sunday afternoon in the capital. 34 years of age, 13-year vet in the ANBL. Marshall with the opening shot comes up short.
Yeah, great start from the Giants there. Look a whole lot more connected on defense. You see Bryce Johnson sitting in that deep drop, but they're looking to help in from the wing.
Dempster scoreless in the season opener last week. Only put up one shot, believe it or not. Spinning back to the basket, Johnson.
And there he is, Bryce Johnson. Obviously, the resume of the man is incredible. So let's see if he can make some waves in this league this game.
Number 25 pick in the NBA draft, Liafa, just the player we were talking about in the pregame.
And there we go. You can't keep a great player down long. Liafa comes out, gets downhill. Great finish.
Bruce and McNaught matching up. Liafa and Forbes. Harris now with the job on Bryce Johnson. Johnson backing Harris down. Again, high off the glass. A little bit of contact there. Look at Judd underneath. Great. The flowing mullet.
Great job from Liam Judd. Really got in and got position. You can see straight away with Harris on Johnson, they're sending Mazinski down low, looking ready to help for that turn. So good to see Bryce Johnson's aware of that, can go to the fader, which he's comfortable with.
Still only 23 years of age, Liam Judd. Couple of seasons with the Jets. He's played, in fact, it's his 40th Sal's NBL game tonight. Has just spent the summer with the Breakers as well.
Yeah, look, it's a great get for the Giants, and obviously the big thing that teams are successful with is securing local cores, and I think Liam Judd's a guy the Giants can look to sign for a lot of years and look to build around.
Splits the pair at the Chemist Warehouse. Of course, every shot made from the Chemist Warehouse stripe this year. Chemist Warehouse putting a donation towards Hoops in Parks and Hoops in Schools. Fantastic initiative as we raise money for community basketball. Rings. Look at that, Hiram Harris, down he goes for a triple.
And that's a great sign for the Saints again. Obviously Harris is very adept at getting downhill, but has shown a lot more confidence shooting that three.
Had a huge opening half against the Airs last week. Dempster looking to respond, front of the iron. McNaught comes up with it. They go again, Dempster wide open. This time nails the triple.
Sammy D doesn't miss 2 in a row if he gets 2 sniffs straight away. Great look from Sammy D.
Only put up the one shot. I mentioned that against the Rams, so much better seeing Sam Dempster shoot. Bruce Liafa off target, and that's going to be a Saints ball. GJ Gardner-Holmes replay. Seen that many times over the years, haven't we? The 34-year-old Sammy D still doing it.
Yeah, up the top of the key, that's his hot spot. That's where he likes to shoot. And great hit from Dempster.
Here's Sean Bruce, the boy from Horsham. And he's just stepped out of court there. It actually bounced back on him off that pass.
The Giants have changed up their strategy, obviously, from the Rams, which is great to see the adjustments they've made. You can see that those wing defenders are really starting to stay connected and then bouncing out if that pass does go.
Got to say, a great crowd for a Thursday night here in Nelson tonight. First home game of the season for the Giants, and the fans have come out in force. Forbes, little pull-up, sweet shot.
That's great to see from Jalen Forbes. He's got an ability to put the ball in the basket. So to see him come out, be aggressive, make that first one is awesome.
Had 12 against the Rams. Marshall, Liafa, look out. Isaiah Liafa is on it tonight.
Yeah, now the Giants really need to be aware. If he sees one go in, they have to be connected and ensure that he is not going to get easy looks.
He's got 5 in the game already. Oh, a little bit of contact there. Maybe in the end, Forbes just tripping. Need to see that again. Liafa to Bruce, and the Saints add 2. Not quite sure whether there was contact. It was on the far side from us. Forbes went down heavy. He's back to his feet now. Johnson for 3. Oh, big fella.
Starting to get that mojo back, starting to get that confidence back as Bryce Johnson. That is a great sign for the Giants.
Couple of baskets to open the game for Johnson as well. And this is a good contest over the first 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, for sure. As we see there, oh yeah, looks like a hold by Liam Judd. Yeah, a great contest. I think the other thing for the Giants is they're looking to push the tempo a whole lot more. They got a wee bit guilty against the Rams of, as you see there, well, maybe a wee bit of contact, but they are able to get the steal. But against the Rams, they got put out of their offense quite easily. So it's good to see them look to push the ball, up the tempo, be aggressive, get on the rim, and that's what's led to them scoring 11 points.
Saints, Mazinski out of Ohio. And there's some reaching in there by Alex McNaught. And I think that's going to send Liafa to the Chemist Warehouse here for a little bit of shopping.
We see Bryce Johnson come over to talk to Mike Fitchett.
Just in front of us, conversation between coach and his star player. There is the Giants bench. Phil Jones, assistant coach this season. Gave up the commentary position on Sky Sport. May not get it back, Tommy.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's Phil Jones, so at the end of the day, I think he's got the resume wherever says goes. So until then, I'll stay here for the time being.
There he is. We did the call out, didn't we, during the Sky Broadband Rapid League? How good would it be for him to sign for one game this season and play alongside his son in the Rapid League?
Yeah, I would
Jones and Jones.
I would love to see that as Bryce Johnson goes to work. I tell you what, this is going to turn out to be a great battle if Bryce Johnson is working like this. And down the other end, you've got Isaiah Liafa, who's making impact.
Johnson's already got 7 in the game. Harris nowhere to go on Judd. Here's Liafa from downtown, front of the iron. And Marshall knocks it out of play for the Saints.
Yeah, love how Marty Davison's letting them play too, which is fantastic. And in these games like this, the guys starting to get up and in. It's good to let them play, not stop the game with fouls.
Already a few lead changes. Saints are used to lead changes. I think their double overtime game against the Airs last week, something like 27 lead changes in that game. Here's Forbes for three.
Great
ball.
job.
Did well, didn't he, Judd? Knocked it out to Johnson.
It's great to see Liam Judd is really crashing that glass hard. The Giants actually offensive rebounded the ball very well. It was Hiram Harris for three, short. And that's what you can't afford.
Wide open. They let him take that shot, didn't they? And Liafa can't convert either.
That's a dangerous one for the Giants. Obviously, Mazinski, he's a presence. You've got to make sure that you're putting a contact on him so he's not able to get those offensive rebounds.
Saints have been known for their three-point shooting over the years. They hit 8 of 40 on Sunday against the Airs. Shot it at just 20% from beyond the arc. Here's McNaught. 3 years in the Breakers program. Been with the Saints since the showdown, with the Giants, I should say, since the showdown in 2020. Look at Johnson getting busy. Still battling away. Saints come up with it. Marshall and Liam Judd, good defensively again.
Yeah, Liam Judd is really bringing energy in his first home game at Nelson. As we look here, getting back, Marshall able to go to that contact, but love the effort from Judd.
Do like the fact that the Barter Card officials letting these two teams play at the moment as well. Good to see. Evans Jr. into the action. Liafa has been busy. Plumtree underneath, too much tall timber.
Just snatch blocked that one.
Callum Dalton into the action as well for the Giants now.
McNaught got the switch. It's good to see McNaught being aggressive downhill. That's what he didn't do as well against the Rams, but it's good to see he's got that intent early. Great hit.
Forbes finishing off the good work, the good pass from Dalton. So the Giants out by 3. Saints to respond. Marshall on Forbes, doubled by Judd. There's a foul underneath, and this is going to be called unsportsmanlike. We'll need to have a look at this again on the GJ Gardner Holmes replay. I think it's gone on Forbes. Here we go. Different angle. Watch Forbes. Oh, coming down over the top heavy. Very apologetic straight away. Marty Davison right on the scene.
Yeah, I don't know if he meant to get him in the head. Obviously looking like he's going for the ball. But as soon as the refs feel like there's a wee bit of contact directed towards the head in there, flagrant fouls tend to come out.
Marshall puts that one away. He'll get a second and possession for the Saints.
Interesting conversation the Giants are having with Forbes at the moment too, having to explain that if he gets a technical foul, that is good night nurse for him. Yeah, not NBA rules here, where you can just add it to your personal fouls as well. There is the Giants bench. Tommy Gargulio and the great Phil Jones, of course. Some great young talent on that bench as well. We saw that in the Rapid League again. Mazinski now. Terrific pass inside and some body contact there. Young Caslow Evans Jr. is now off to the stripe. Yeah, great cut there from Evans Jr. again. Sees the defender's head his turn, attacks down, and does a really good job at initiating contact. If we look again here. Great job.
Just getting Crate off the floor. Bryce Johnson, 7 points already for the Giants. Isaiah Liafa has 7 for the Saints. Evans Jr. converts from the Chemist Warehouse. Of course, a former Giant for one season, Evans Jr.
Yeah, Caslow Evans Jr. came down to the Giants in 2023. Really started to make some waves at the back end of his season, so it's really good that he's getting some good burn for the Saints here.
Nails a couple from the stripe. Adds some more money to hoops in parks and hoops in schools with thanks to Chemist Warehouse. Here's Forbes. Dalton now hands it off. Hayden Jones, 17 against the Rams. That one back of the iron. He's going to get it back, the youngster. Liam Judd loves a 3.
There he goes, Liam Judd. And in terms of the Rams game, he didn't really get too many looks like that where he's got his feet set shooting it. So that's a great sign for him.
Marshall now hands-on against Lockie Crate. That might be his second. It is.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Coach Fitchett does here. It looks like he's letting Crate run, which is good. Give him some time to settle into this game.
Saints ringing the changes on the sidelines as well. Here's the replay. See there, the two hands on the shoulder. That's an easy pickup for the officials. Mike Fitchett, been around the traps for a while now, hasn't he?
Yeah, I tell you what, he's starting to become like part of the furniture, really. But I tell you what, he's a good guy for the Giants to have and does a lot for the organisation.
Well, the Fitchett family is the furniture in this building.
Yeah, well, Steve Fitchett's right beside me, so I'm not trying to say too much.
Marshall hits the first. 4 years with the Adelaide 36ers so far, Nick Marshall. And he was the league MVP in NBL 1 South last year. Averaged 23 and 8 with Mount Gambier. Got a timeout here called by Mike Fitchett. He wants to have a chat. All level after the opening 6.5 minutes here tonight. Thursday night hoops in the Salmons NBL. Hope you're enjoying it. Justin Nelson and Tom Ingham. Yes, the Tom Ingham. 140 games with the Giants. Retired at the end of last season. How hard was it to use that word that starts with R?
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit of a tough realisation. I ideally would have liked to go one more to get 150. But, you know, there were a couple of tough conversations that probably needed to be had. I mean, you can't be sitting on a bike and biking 8 kilometres a game just to get through. So, you know, it was time and, you know, ultimately really happy with the decision in the end.
What's it like to get all of that time back? No more training sessions?
Oh, I tell you what, I'd like to say it's great, but then, you know, being in school, teaching, that's taken up a whole lot more time. So, you know, it was needed to push forward in that career.
Well, use the opportunity right now. You've got the platform. No doubt a number of your students will be listening in tonight. Say good day to them. Who's your favourite student?
Oh, well, I've actually got Max Darling's little brother in my class, Boston Darling.
Baller? Baller?
Yeah, he's a baller.
All right.
And the other one I have to shout out, actually, is my partner's daughter, Lexi. And she told me 3 words to say tonight, and that was Lexi, tractor, and birthday. So I've got them all in, and so happy days. So, Lexi, I got you.
Good to know you lot are playing games at school rather than education. 18 apiece. 7 minutes down in this opening quarter. Been a really good contest. Here's Dalton. Adding some height to this Giants team. Ball on the floor now, taking on Richards, and he does, the big man, Dalton for 2.
And that's really great to see Callum Dalton being aggressive early. Obviously, it took a wee bit of time to get adjusted to how the Giants are playing, come off the bench, but he's made him, ooh.
Yeah, offensive foul here on Hiram Harris, moving screen.
He does not like it. Be interesting to see the replay on this one to see if his feet were set.
Just on Callum Dalton, 3 years in the Melbourne United program as well, out of Logan, just south of Brisbane. Just 24 years of age, so he's still growing as well, isn't he?
Yeah, a fantastic grab to get for the Giants while Callum McRae obviously isn't here. Really gives them some size, which they were lacking last year.
Giants picking up McRae from the Sharks, currently playing in Japan. Judd to Jones, shot clock down, tough shot for Hayden Jones. How close was that?
In and out, rising up. I wonder if he called bank on that.
Liafa to Harris, teaming up so well. Dalton, effective, good rebound.
The Giants have really made their impact known on the glass at the moment, which is fantastic. Great seal from Johnson. Straight down, seals Richards, puts it in. But as already, I think the Giants were up to 6 offensive rebounds, which they did last time against the Rams, but the defensive rebounds have been a lot better too.
Bryce Johnson has 9 points now. Liafa has 10 as he nails a triple.
Yeah, Mike Fitchett is not thrilled about that one. That's like we talked about pre-game. That's a guy you do not want to get going, and he's starting to look really comfortable.
Well, he had 13 against the Airs, Isaiah Liafa, on 4 of 19 shooting, 1 of 9 from beyond the arc. And he is up and firing here tonight. Early stages, Giants by 1. Dalton fires away. That one rims around. Harris. Corner ball. Bruce inside. Richards gets up. He's fouled down the arms by Judd. And I'm not quite sure. We'll have to have a look at this again. Sorry, Tom, but Luca Richards all by himself inside. Just have a look here. Nobody with him. Dalton was called out to the corner.
Yeah, I think Bryce Johnson, maybe there was a bit of miscommunication in terms of whether the Giants were in zone or man. Johnson a wee bit high on that one, getting caught. But Richards had a great rapid league game. Was really physical and is trying to make his presence felt in this NBL game too.
Here is Luca Richards. First one is short. Joined the Saints this season from the Manawatu Jets. Returned from injury second half of last season and put together some really good games. Had a top score, a career high of 16 in one of those games for the Jets. Saints saw an opportunity.
Yeah, it's always good to see guys come back off long layoffs, bit of an injury, come back and make waves in the league. So awesome to see him getting some burn for the Saints now.
All tied up with a minute to play. Dalton with some confidence. Oh, Sammy Dempster, really good tap there, set up Lockie Crate.
And that's what Sammy D does. He's got a nose for the ball. He knows how to crash the glass really well. And just those little tips that can have a massive impact on the game.
Really clever stuff from the Giants captain. Let's see what the Saints can do back the other way. Mazinski, double-double last week with 6 rebounds. Good defense, better offense.
Yeah, that's a great shot. Took his time, got to that left. Looks comfortable there.
McNaught. Dempster hands it off to Crate. Here's McNaught again, shot clock at 8. Got to get busy now. Alex McNaught from the Chemist Warehouse, in and out, rebound, another O-board. Crate can't finish. And now the Saints with a late chance with 10 seconds to play. Liafa's had an awesome start tonight. Under pressure from McNaught, stepping back for 3. Oh, how about Isaiah Liafa in Nelson tonight?
I'd hate to say it, but we told you so. Isaiah Liafa has come out and put on an absolute show in this first quarter. Now up to 13 points, I believe, which ties his game previous. So the Giants need to figure out what to do very quickly.
3 triples as well for Liafa, none better than that. And the Saints lead by 3 at quarter time. Hope you're enjoying it. Stick with us, second quarter, not too far away.
At the other end, shooting for Tasman Environmental Trust. 3, 2, 1, go. 45 seconds on the clock. They're giving a countdown both ends to see who can get the most. Tony's just running them off the glass, as is Craig, in fact. I don't think they're going to get these ones in single digits. This is going to be up there. You won't be able to count it. You're going to have to take your shoes and socks off, count on your toes, I think, after this one. 30 seconds. You got 30 seconds to go. Oh, no, sorry, 15 seconds to go. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One last shot up, and that is it, ladies and gentlemen. How many do we get down here? I need to know what we got each end. We got 10 this end. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for Tony. 17, search and rescue, walking away with $1,000. However, big round of applause for Craig. He's just made Tasman Environmental Trust $500 as well. We're going to say a big thank you to NBS, local banking service provider, NBS principal sponsor of the NBS Nelson Giants. The Hoops for Charity. We do it at every home game. Your chance to shoot hoops, win $1,000 or $1,500. Split between 2 charities. So I'm going to say well done to both.
Number Hockey Mo, welcome back to the Trafalgar Centre tonight. 27-24, Saints lead by 3. Large pepperoni pizza, that's this week's special with thanks to Sal's, $29.99. There's the online code, there's the QR code. That is available until next Tuesday. Get in on it. Got to say, Tom, it's my favourite, the large pepperoni.
Yeah, I can get around that. Looks pretty tasty from this angle, so maybe tonight's dinner.
It looks tasty from every angle. What are you talking about?
Fair chat, fair chat.
What did you make of the opening quarter?
Yeah, I mean, a great quarter from both teams, really. I mean, the Giants will take a whole lot of positive stuff out of what they've been able to do on the offensive glass and how they've attacked the hoop. And then with the Saints, obviously, with Liafa getting going, that's a fantastic sign.
Both teams searching for their first win of the season. Late whistle there. And Dalton's going to go to the Chemist Warehouse. Being called on Hiram Harris, so that's his second. One to keep an eye on there.
That is an interesting one because Hiram is obviously the motor of this team. He's what makes them go. And as a forward, he's also initiating a lot of their offense. So, yeah, the Saints need him to be on the floor.
Just got him down the arm by the looks of it there. Dalton converts. Played at the under-17 and under-19 world champs for Australia. So he's travelled a bit. Here he is in Nelson. Top of the South Island. Oh, how did you see that?
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, I mean, my rule's mainly touching up, but I'm pretty sure that's all good from Hiram Harris. He's able to get on the rim, knock that off. Well done.
And there wasn't a lot of complaints from my left. So the Giants were okay with it. Mazinski, loose shot in the end. Forbes picks it up.
And Coach Fitchett's really wanting it to get through to that second side, which you see here as McNaught comes off.
Little floater, that's his shot. McNaught unable to finish. Again, a battle off the glass.
And I love that from McNaught. He needs to make sure that he's continuing to attack off on-ball screens because that's going to help the defense respect his shot. So that's good to see.
Harris to Liafa. That is a heat check. Unable to finish. Giants with a chance to take the lead with this shot from Dalton. That won't go. Harris with the rebound.
And here he comes, Hiram Harris. And this is a big thing initiating the offense. You see the Giants are back on transition, but not enough. And that's what he can do. Unlucky he didn't get that finish.
Alex McNaught, been a part of this Giants program for quite some time now. Called up into the showdown, of course, back in 2020. Dalton in the end goes it alone, gets the favourable drop.
Great finish, but the Giants need to really look at their spacing at the moment. You've seen Dempster and McNaught were pretty much holding each other's hand. They need to make sure they're spacing the floor, giving Dalton some options to pass to.
Callum Dalton playing some really good minutes here. Hiram Harris converts the three.
His second three too, and like we said, if Hiram's making threes, that is dangerous for the Nelson Giants.
So a good basket there for Harris. McNaught now. Dempster for three. Look out. Sammy D's got his eye in.
There we go, and that's massive for the Giants too. They are a completely different team when Sammy D is getting good looks and hitting shots. So great to see Dempster hit his second triple.
Tied up at 30 apiece. Marshall to respond. Dempster with the rebound.
And see Fitchett still trying to make sure the Giants are pushing the pace. You see McNaught trying to get deep on this on-ball screen.
And again, two hands on. This time Sean Bruce. Consistency there from the officials. They've been calling that so far tonight.
Yeah, definitely. And you see on that empty side on-ball screen, McNaught's really trying to get deep, so he's got more angle to move when that screen eventually comes. So that's really good and a difference from the Rams game, which is great.
Timeout called by the Saints here, early stages of this second quarter. Hope you're enjoying it wherever you may be watching right around the world. Of course, every game live on Sky Sport here in New Zealand, ESPN in the United States, and also globally. Right around the world on FIBA YouTube. A win last night in the NZNBL to the Phi. They took down the Nuggets by 15. And on Tuesday night, the Airs and the Jets, a good battle. The Jets getting their opening win of the season, defeating the Airs by 9. What have you made of Mad March so far? Of course, 9 games have been played. Still very, very early stages.
Well, I mean, there's constantly basketball on TV, which is fantastic. You're always seeing a different game. But I think what's been awesome to see is teams like the Jets, obviously with the depth this year with Webster and Russo Nance being added, they look like they're going to be a very dangerous team. And the Phi have been another team that I've been very impressed with. Cruz Parrott Hunt is being very aggressive, and it's fantastic for him to, you know, get going because he's a heck of a player.
What about the young man, 17 years of age, Jackson Ball? What did you make of his opening 2 games?
I mean, not many imports come out and go 40-piece, 36-piece in succession. So the fact that he is doing that, I think against the Panthers, obviously the shots he was hitting were incredibly tough. But then to see the level of competition against the Jets to go get 36, man, this kid is special.
No doubt about that. Back underway. Dempster, McNaught. Gripping contest right now. Oh, Bryce Johnson just left alone, and that's what he'll do to you, folks.
I tell you what, I did not realise Bryce Johnson could shoot it from three like that, but he looks comfortable and confident out there, which is great for the Giants.
Well, he's hit a couple already tonight, and I reckon if the Saints leave him alone any longer, they're going to pay the price.
Well, what that does too, if Bryce, great hit from Mazinski, what that does for the Giants too, if you've got Sammy Dempster hitting shots, Bryce Johnson hitting shots, it actually forces Mazinski out a wee bit, which enables the guards to start attacking as Dempster goes again.
And he wasn't too far away. Johnson up to 12 in the game now. Marshall around Forbes, runs into Dempster. Good hand in the end by Forbes. He may have been called for a foul here. It's either Dempster or Forbes. I think it is Forbes, his second. GJ Gardner-Holmes replay. How did you see this, Tom?
Yeah, I mean, you see him there. Definitely got him on the hand. I think the thing that Coach Fitchett will be a wee bit annoyed about is the rip from Marshall into the lane. You know, you really can't afford to have guys penetrating into the middle. So, unfortunate, but Marshall going to the Chemist Warehouse for 2.
Fouls at the moment. Forbes has 2, Judd has 2, and Crate has 2 for the Giants. For the Saints, Hiram Harris with a couple as well. To take the lead, here's Nick Marshall. Back of the iron. Oh, Plumtree just copped a knock there, and just wonder if this is against Liam Judd. If it is, it's his 3rd.
Yeah.
Foul is on Judd.
And he won't be too thrilled about that. We'll see what Coach Fitch is going to do. They've only put it up. There we go, 3.
He'd only just stepped back onto the floor as well. So some concerns here for the Giants. Marshall around Johnson.
Great finish, and with Johnson being deep in that drop, you've got 3 guards who can really attack off their on-ball screen and get deep and finish, as you see with Marshall there.
So the Giants riding their luck here with Liam Judd at the moment. 3 fouls for him. Here's Hayden Jones. Haven't seen a lot of him just yet tonight. Dempster, Jones, somehow creates a basket. That is big.
And there we go, Hayden Jones, not settling for the 3, getting into the lane, being able to split the defense, take the contact, tough fader.
Just 18 years of age. Out of Waimea College. There's the setup from Dempster. And that's tough. That is hard.
That is tough. But he is very comfortable in that mid-range. And pulling up left hand, right hand, fading away. It's something he's really worked hard to add to his game. You see it right there.
Heading off to the Under-19 World Championships this season. Or this year, I should say. Not season, this year. Part of the Under-17s. Finished 4th in the world last year. McNaught comes up with the steal and nearly the finish.
Yeah, nearly there. He slowed down a bit, tried to take that contact, but not quite in the end.
Sean Bruce, top scorer for the Saints. And there's an offensive foul, moving screen on Nick Mazinski. So we've seen a couple of Saints in trouble for that tonight.
Yeah, obviously something the refs are paying close attention to, whether the feet aren't quite set or maybe getting with the hip. But something the Saints are going to have to be aware of.
Sean Bruce, 26 points against the Airs.
And some tough 4th quarter buckets. So watch out for him later on in this game.
They were big, weren't they? 34 years of age. He's had a wonderful career. Played with the Saints, of course, back in 2018. Dempster. Plumtree defensively learning a few lessons right now. There's Jones pulling up. Look out, the kid with the soft touch.
That is automatic. That stride step, rise up, bucket.
At what age do you reckon Father Phil was out on the court teaching Hayden that move?
Well, I could say pretty early doors. And the drive, as we see, good rebound there from Johnson. Yeah, I know the driveway has got an absolute beating with obviously Meyer and Ava too, so there's been some great battles out there, I bet.
Dempster. And a foul there against Dougal Meter.
And Crate does such a good job when he catches on that second side action. He looks to reject, and you see right there, he's very quick off the mark, very strong. Dougal meter nearly there, but just missing out in terms of that contact, as we see on the replay.
Talking about that under-19 World Championship team, for the Kiwis this year, Lachlan Crate, Hayden Jones, Troy Plumtree. Believe it or not, Jackson Ball qualifies this year and in a couple.
I tell you what, New Zealand basketball's in a good spot. It's exciting.
So much talent. Good pickup by the Giants in the off-season to bring Lachlan Crate down south from the Jets. Now playing under the tutelage of Mike Fitchett, assistant coach with the Tall Blacks, of course. Giants by 2. Hope you're enjoying it. Justin Nelson, Tom Ingham with you tonight. Liafa has been dangerous, and he's off to the Chemist Warehouse for a little bit of extra shopping.
And that is not going to help the Giants. If you get a shooter getting to the line, getting more and more comfortable, obviously he's already shooting the ball at a really good clip, but three free throws is definitely going to help him as well.
Averaged 22 points a game last season for the Saints. Just couldn't find his touch on Sunday against the Airs. But gee, his start tonight has been right up there. Nails a couple. Look at this, just makes it look so effortless. Isaiah Liafa, 3 from 3. What's he up to now on the Chemist Warehouse stat sheet?
I believe that looks like with that one there, he's up to 14 points. So very dangerous signs for the Giants. However, still right in this game. So that's a very positive thing for the Giants too.
Dougal meter with McNaught. Jones to Johnson. Harris has a couple of fouls, needs to be careful. Johnson, turn around.
Bryce Johnson, he's starting to look more and more comfortable. That is a great thing for the Giants.
He's up to 14. Offensive rebound, back to the basket. Double H, Hiram Harris.
That is tough. Hiram Harris putting the skates on. Bryce Johnson not knowing where he went. Great finish.
Clever stuff. Liafa defensively on Jones. Here's Johnson again on Harris. He likes this matchup, Bryce Johnson.
He wants some payback. What we got, Bryce?
This one, a little bit too short. Dalton couldn't hang on to it. Bruce comes up with it. Charging down the floor, Sean Bruce. Giants are going to have a timeout in a moment. Foul here on Bryce Johnson.
Still only his first, which is great because he picked up a couple of quick fouls really early on against the Rams. And obviously he's got it rolling right now, so he's a guy the Giants really need out here.
Look at this basket from Hiram Harris. Back to the basket. Bryce Johnson. To be fair, he's a very good player with a lot of experience, Bryce Johnson, but Hiram Harris gave him the slip there.
Bit of a case of now you see me, now you don't. What a move from Hiram.
Timeout here to the Giants, 3:24 left to play in the opening half. Saints lead it by 1. Coming up over the next few days, wall-to-wall basketball in the Sal's NBL. Panthers at home to the Bulls tomorrow night. First home game ever for the Panthers. And the Bulls have had a good start to the season, haven't they?
Yeah, the Bulls have been really impressive. They play incredibly hard on the defensive end. They've looked really good, but still a lot of pieces to add to the puzzle.
Flynn Cameron to come in.
Ethan Rusbatch still to come in.
Yes.
So, I mean, the Bulls are going to be a team to watch. I think they'll be in the mix come the end of the postseason.
I had him in that mix of 5, 6, 7, just around about. I snuck the Hawks into my top 6 instead of the Bulls. I think the Hawks have had a great start to the season as well. I think my smoky overall was the Giants. If the Giants win tonight, they start to get a few tongues wagging. They've got to get over the Saints, of course, but I do like the way the Bulls have started. One other game tomorrow night. Speaking of the Hawks, they take on the Nuggets.
Oh, interesting game again. Obviously, the Nuggets have had a bit of a slower start. However, they're starting to get more bits and pieces into the mix. So I think that'll be a game where the Nuggets will be looking to get back.
Todd Withers, of course, has come over for a few games. Good to see Todd back in the competition.
Yeah, really good to see Todd Withers back. I mean, he's a heck of a player, and it's really exciting for the Nuggets that he's back in that mix for that small time.
A rare miss from the Chemist Warehouse stripe for Isaiah Liafa. He's in fact got 16. Make that 17 first half points for Liafa. Aaron Young and Chris Tupu watching on. Saints by 2. Dalton. Down low on Richards. Dalton, just a little mini hook with the right.
He's starting to look really comfortable in there. Callum Dalton, great move. Takes his time. We shimmy. Right hook.
Been very good tonight. Liafa everywhere with the runner. Down it goes.
And that's what happens with that deep drop that the Giants are playing. If Liafa can turn the corner, he's obviously starting to make a few floaters. So make sure, let's have a look, see if the Giants make any changes.
Crate. Dalton wants it again. Receives on Richards. Oh, spinning back. I think he's walked there. He has. Well picked up by the officials. Yeah. Just a little step it was.
I'll tell you what, Callum Dalton, he must be an incredibly nice human being because he looked like he started to argue, and I think he then apologised to the ref for arguing. So, what a bloke.
He's taking a leaf out of your book. You always apologise, didn't you, Tom?
Oh, I don't know about all that.
Were you a chatter out there on the court deep 2, Liafa here? Did you have a bit of a chat to the officials?
I didn't mind a bit of a yarn, but at the end of the day, you had to score some buckets to get a yarn in. So I always didn't get the buckets in. So sometimes just better to shut up.
Turnover there for the Giants, which leads me to my next question, or the most obvious question. Over your 140-game career, which player, which teammate spoke most to the officials? You can say anything now. You can absolutely bury them.
Oh, Mike Fitchett?
Oh, that's unfair.
Nah,
that's an easy get.
I mean, to be honest, it's probably the Nelson guys. I mean, Sammy D likes a bit of a yarn to the refs, but as we all do, you got to keep them honest. That's the way I see it anyway. The refs may not agree, but such is life.
Mazinski with a nice tip in there for the Saints. And all of a sudden, they're out by 4. Dalton can reduce it to 1. Misses that. They go again, though. Another offensive rebound. Look out. Forbes in the corner. That one deep. And the Saints are going to come up with possession here. 1:44 to play in the opening half. Giants have just got to be careful here.
Yeah, I mean, obviously only a minute 40 left. The Saints have the capability to really turn it on, and then if that lead balloons to double digits, which it easily could, so the Giants really have to do a good job at weathering that storm and finishing the half strong.
Both teams have their BNZ player timeout as well. Keep an eye on that. We saw some interesting and some clever and some good use of the BNZ player timeout in the earlier Rapid League game. Bruce.
Fitchett wanting the moving screen there too. And obviously the refs have been looking at that, but on that case, swallowed their whistle.
And Saints by 6 now. So a really big finish to this opening half for the Wellington Saints. Jones up and over the top, short. Here they go again. Harris, Bruce. They look to extend. Great pass, Liafa. And he's drawn some contact there.
And this is where it gets dangerous. When the Saints start getting out and running, and you've seen that in patches against the Airs, especially at the start, they are rapid. And the Giants need to make sure that they're getting good looks, but also walling up, getting back on transition, and limiting those transition points for the Giants.
And Harris was the one there, wasn't he? That defensive rebound. He turned and put the skates on straight away. Liafa back to the stripe. He's been pretty good, 6 of 7 from the Chemist Warehouse so far. Don't forget, this season, every made shot in the Sal's NBL from the Chemist Warehouse stripe. And there's that little foul there against Crate. Every made free throw, a donation from Chemist Warehouse to Hoops in Parks and Hoops in Schools. Fantastic initiative as we continue to raise money and put some hoops in the community. Well done to Chemist Warehouse.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fantastic to see so many hoops popping up around town. And, you know, kids are loving basketball, and the fact they're out there doing it and they've got the facilities to do so is fantastic.
Do the kids at school ever get you out at lunchtime onto the basketball court, Tommy?
Yeah, I won't lie to you, Justin. I actually played my first game since the last game of the season against the Airs today against my class, so the lungs were definitely feeling it, that's for sure.
What was it, you won on about 7? Dalton underneath.
Great finish from Dalton. 5 on 5, but You know, I played a couple seagulls out there to get a few easy buckets, and
Nice.
then I was back on defence the entire time. More netball than basketball, I think.
I like it. Oh, Sean Bruce with the big triple.
Massive hit from Sean Bruce, and the Giants, it'd be great to finish on a bucket here. Opting not to use the BNZ player timeout.
Last couple of minutes have definitely belonged to the Saints. That was all ball for mine off Marshall. That's the way the Barter card officials saw it. We'd need to see the replay again. Although the Saints having a bit of a laugh about it, so maybe there was some clear contact on the arm. Let's have a look, closer look here in the corner. Can't quite, oh.
Yeah, if I'm Forbes, I'm probably a bit annoyed too.
Margin at 8. Oh, heavy contact there. Dougal Meter into the back of Jones. That's gone unseen. So the Giants may be on the wrong end of a couple of missed calls on this possession. Got to battle through it though, Tom.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like we talked about, the Saints can really open up a game really quickly and have done so now with their 8-point lead. So this is a massive position for the Giants.
Shot clock at 11. Now the Giants want to have a chat here. BNZ play a timeout, so they're going to come together. If you're new to the BNZ player timeout, been around for a couple of years now, only the players on the court can come together. No coach involvement, no subs. Ball advances, although the Giants already had it forward here. Here's the QR code, by the way. Scan that, folks. And you've got the chance to win some tickets to the Sal's NBL up and down the country with thanks to BNZ, inspiring the next generation of basketballers. It's a great way to get out and see some Sal's NBL, the BNZ ticket to the big game. Here we go. What do the Giants do here, Tom?
Well, I think they'll be trying to get the ball in either McNaught or Jones's hands, slow down, on-ball screen.
Shot clock just inside the game clock, so the Saints will get a chance at a timeout as well. Corner ball, Dempster!
Massive from Sammy D, and that's what he does. And as soon as he sees one or two go in, you got to get a hand up on that man, and he does not need much space to go get a bucket.
Saints straight away called their BNZ player timeout, so they're going to advance here with 2 seconds to play. Here's the Dempster basket from the corner.
And that one there, if you're Mazinski, you maybe don't need to help. Dempster's already hit a couple. It looked like Liafa had, or sorry, Dougal Meter had McNaught under control. So Dempster gets the look.
And they needed that, the Giants. Now they've got to play some really good defense here. Margin at 5. 2.7. Bruce, oh, a lot of space there for Sean Bruce. Way too much space. A breakdown defensively by the Giants. And they're going to have a chat about that at halftime. Sean Bruce, especially after the game he had against the Airs, just left alone at the top of the arc, and that gives the Saints an 8-point lead at the half. Hiram Harris is with Tom Ingham.
I'm here with Wellington Saints, Hiram Harris. Hiram, obviously a very close game at the start, but you guys just started to pull away in that last wee bit.
Yeah, I think we started off a bit not disciplined enough. We keep giving them easy fouls, getting them looking at the free throw line, and obviously Bashan getting 2 easy looks, so got to be better than that end.
It's obviously an 8-point lead going to the second half. What do the lads need to do to be able to get over the line for this one?
We've got to finish defensive positions. They had 9 O-boards in the first quarter, so that's a big clean-up area for us.
Awesome. Cheers, mate. Good luck for the second half. I'm now here with Nelson Giant Sam Dempster. Sammy D, good to see a couple of shots going, mate.
Yeah, no, it's good. Naughty's doing a good job of setting me up, giving me some open shots. So, yeah, it's a good night so far.
Fantastic. And obviously, the Saints made a wee bit of a run then going into the end of the first half. What do you guys need to do in the second half to ensure you guys can stay in the game and get the win tonight?
We've got to clean up our defence. We know what they are. Very talented offensive side. People all over the court that can score the ball. So we switched off a little bit defensively, but yeah, I'm sure we'll go away and talk about that.
Cheers, Sammy. All the best second half, mate.
Good on you, Tom. Some laughs there between the two former teammates. Bit to like about Thursday night hoops in the Sal's NBL. Good contest here. The Saints getting the better of it in the last couple of minutes of that opening half. They lead by 8. Chemist Warehouse stats coming your way right after the break. Welcome back to the Trafalgar Centre, the home of the NBS Nelson Giants, with some work to do. At the half, they trail by 8 against the Saints. Justin Nelson in Nelson with you tonight, but more importantly, as we have a look at Mike Fitchett talking to his Chargers, one of those former Chargers for 140 games, Tom Ingham is with us tonight as well. Great to have you with us in season 2025. Tom, doing a great job behind the microphone, but right now we need you to talk through the Chemist Warehouse stats to halftime, and then we're going to show you a little bit of footage. Let's have a look at the stats first.
Yeah, so get these. Obviously, the big one there is Isaiah Liafa. He has came out and really put the last game to bed. 20 points in the first half. Bryce Johnson starting to really get busy. Sean Bruce with a big bucket at the end. Then obviously contributions from Dempster, Harris, Dalton, and Marshall Mazinski there too. So, you know, across the board looking fantastic. You go into the rebounds, and then Hiram Harris, as per usual, has his hands all over the rebounds and all over this game. Mazinski still at 4. Johnson and Dalton, the bigs for the Giants, really making an impact down that end. Also with Dempster and Plumtree adding there. McNair, really good to see Alex McNair down to 5 assists. He's being a lot more aggressive off on-ball screens, which is fantastic, and making an impact. Liafa there with 4 to go along with his points, and then Bruce and Jones also having an impact. You got Marshall and Dalton there, both getting blocks. And then steals, you've obviously got Alex McNair, Isaiah Liafa, still getting their hands on this game down the defensive end too. But great game.
Interestingly, only 2 steals in the game. So these two teams looking after the ball. Mike Fitchett continues to talk to the team at the half. They trail by 8. That basket just before half-time, we've talked about the Saints and just what they're capable of doing. Some big shots. Have a look at this. Sean Bruce, the space that he was given here, that is just too much. And you can see Sam Dempster's reaction straight away. Just some confusion there from the Giants on the screen. Here's another angle of it. And look at this. Sean Bruce just comes out of it by himself, and some lessons there for the Giants.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the miscommunication there is they talked about whether it was going to be a switch. You see Jones thinking that maybe they were going to switch. They didn't. And you can't leave Sean Bruce open, because at the end of the day, that can ultimately be what decides the game when you play against the Saints.
So the Giants with some work to do. Both of these teams searching for their first win of season 2025. Third quarter not too far away. Saints lead it by 8.
Time to look at our halftime stats, thanks to the official stats group partner of the NBS Nelson Giants, Data Sentinel. And leading the way for the NBS Nelson Giants tonight is Bryce Johnson on 14 points, with Dalton and Dempster sitting on 9 points apiece as well. Just a reminder, of course, Nelson Airport offering the amazing chance to win flights, accommodation and courtside tickets for 2 to watch the Giants play the Panthers up in Auckland on Sunday the 21st of June. The winners of the Flyer Fan competition will head up on Saturday 21st of June, return on Sunday the 22nd. Make a weekend of it. You'll also get to meet the team and hang out at a pre-game training session as well. Pretty simple to enter. Just jump online, NZNBL.co.nz. Tell us who your favourite Giant is, past or present. Do that and you are in to win with Nelson Airport's Flyer Fan Competition. NZNBL.co.nz. Got to say thank you to Sal's Authentic New York Pizza, of course, naming partner of the Sal's NBL. GJ Gardner Homes, presenting partner of the Sal's NBL. Sky Broadband, major partner. Sky Sport, official broadcaster and major partner of the Sal's NBL. Barnacard and Coin, naming partner of the Sal's NBL referees. New Balance, official team apparel and merchandise partner of the Sal's NBL. The official ball supplier of the NBL, Molten. And of course, R-Line, the official rehydration.
Third quarter not too far away here at the Trafalgar Centre tonight. Saints with some late baskets in that opening half lead over the Giants by 8. Hope you're enjoying it. Tom Ingham joining us. 140 games for the NBS Nelson Giants over the years. And quick look at the ladder here, Tom. It's very, very early days, of course. Season just underway with Mad March. Sharks and Hawks fans would be pretty happy, though, right now. Take a snapshot of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if you're Hawke's Bay, you've still got all the Illawarra Hawks lads to add. They're going to be a dangerous team, I think, if they can stay healthy and continue to push like they are at the moment. Dan
Greeder, LeBullock to come in as well. The coach, of course, young Kiwi, believe it or not, on a Kiwi passport. Lukey Yates is with the Illawarra Hawks as well. Best of luck to Melbourne United and Illawarra Hawks. Game 5 and the decider coming up on the weekend in Illawarra. That'll be a big game.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. But, I mean, it'll be interesting. Well, I'm really interested to see when Dan Greeder comes back into this building, because he is a cult hero down here in Nelson. So him wearing Hawke's Bay Hawks, I think there's going to be some pretty upset Nelson Giants fans.
There's the second half of the ladder as it stands at the moment as well. And good luck to the Kiwis in that deciding game as well. There's a few running around, isn't there? Flynn Cameron, Rob Lowe, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I mean, what a series it's been. Obviously going to that Game 5. It's really exciting, and it's awesome there's a large Kiwi contingent in there.
Hopefully Shea Illy can get back on the floor as well.
Absolutely. Shea Illy, that man, he's one of the best guards, if not one of the best point guard in New Zealand at the moment.
Just saw the mixandpick.com poll there. MVP poll coming up through the last quarter as well. Stay tuned for that. Saints underway quickly through hands. Oh, great setup for Liafa. Can't complete it, though. But how about the play coming out of half-time? That was pretty to watch.
As we get the block there. But, yeah, absolutely, to get Liafa a good look like that. The Giants really need to be aware. They need to be connected to him. As you see right there, Marshall left all alone. Cannot afford to keep that going.
So a couple of big three-point attempts there for the Saints go begging. They were 8 of 40 from downtown against the Airs. At halftime here tonight, 7 of 15. So they've turned that around.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I mean, when the Saints are doing that, they're very, very dangerous. See, Liam Judd, that's the looks that he needs to get.
Just off to the right there. He's on 3 fouls as well. The only player on the floor with some foul problems. Who's going to get the opening blow here in the third quarter tonight? The Giants need to lift. Saints had a big finish to that opening half. Bruce to Harris to Marshall. Dempster, good hand. Lands with Harris.
Oh, and Forbes just drops that out of bounds. The Saints will get an extra possession. It's really good to see, again, the Giants. They've obviously identified. The Rams had a lot of success getting downhill in that drop, and you see it's continuing to help from the wings. It's showing a few extra bodies on those on-ball screens. As Mazinski for 3. Johnson with the rebound. McNaught now bringing the ball up. See that corner empty on ball starting to get a bit deeper. Johnson, not quite on that occasion, but we've seen that Johnson is more than capable of hitting that 3 ball. We come down. Forbes going under. Marshall looking to attack off that screen. Great job from Forbes, staying in control, able to hold on to that. Fantastic. And that's what the Giants need to do if they're going to stay in this game. They need to really ensure that they're getting stops down the defensive end, because you'll see at the back end of that second half, the Saints really went on a big run and over a 1-2 point game pretty much the entire way. But now that blew out to an 8-point lead, so the Giants need to acknowledge that and make sure they're putting their best foot forward this half.
I think the Giants will be pretty happy with that the last 90 seconds or so.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're getting stops, and that's what needs to continue to happen. As we see McNaught on the curl, and it's a great look from Johnson. I'm surprised that's not warranting a wee bit more respect from Mazinski.
Had a couple of good looks, hasn't he, Johnson? Bruce to the corner. Dougal Meter out there, just bodying into McNaught. Oh, and the pass, just some miscommunication there.
Marty Davison all over the tip. It looks like it's being debated now. Originally Saints ball, but you see the refs having a bit of a chat.
I think this will be fixed up. I think it was very clear that there was a tip in there, so should be a Giants ball, and there it is, just corrected. So interesting here, 2.5 minutes gone, Tom, and no score has been added.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, as we see Johnson, yeah, it's a really interesting one. Obviously, it's been very up-tempo, up-pace. Buckets have been, McNaught pull up, but buckets have been flowing for both teams, really, for the Giants, especially in comparison to last week. Saints with 54. Both teams looking good.
Liafa. Oh, nice little dish out to Harris. Unable to finish. Mazinski, offensive rebound.
Oh,
and in the end, Johnson gets up.
Yeah, that's what we like to see. Bryce Johnson, it's a bit of fizz, starting to get fizzed up a wee bit. Get the elbows coming out. Man means business.
One of the very special words that I have learnt here in New Zealand over the last 7 seasons. The way you guys use fizz. Don't quite understand it still, but I don't mind it. Oh, Liafa, very good defensively.
Yeah, we got a few words that are a bit out the gate, but, you know, you'll learn, mate. You'll get there.
I'm getting there. You're right. It's taken me 7 seasons. Harris strong to the hoop.
Yeah, that's what he does, and he wants the foul call too. Hiram Harris, you can see the flare is there, looking to attack. He gets on that left hand. He is really hard to stop.
And look at this double-digit lead now as well to the Saints. Giants still haven't scored in this third quarter.
See Dougal Meter digging off McNaught. McNaught can maybe separate a wee bit, get himself open for that three. And there he goes right there.
Chance. Oh, in and out. Dempster keeps it alive, puts it in.
And there he is, Sammy D. Matter of right place, right time. He knows where to be. But what's really good to see is McNaught shooting that shot. He needs to continue to be confident in that space and look to be a perimeter threat for the Giants.
Bruce, just too easy for the vet.
No drop. No drop in there at all. Giants obviously sitting in that deeper drop, but there's no presence. And a player as quality as Sean Bruce, that's an easy bucket.
Much better from Dempster tonight as well. Didn't score against the Rams. He's got 11 now. Johnson loves that spin, unable to finish.
And this is where it gets real dangerous for the Giants. Obviously, you see the Saints slow it down here, but with Hiram going downhill, could get ugly real fast. So they've got to do a good job managing this run.
7 rebounds for Harris tonight as well. Who's that come off? It'll be a Saints ball.
I love the energy from Liam Judd. You know, obviously he's in a bit of foul trouble right now, which has had an impact on his ability to get his flow and rhythm on the court. But the energy is there, and that's what you really want to see in your guys.
GJ Gardner-Holmes replay. Here's the drive from Liafa. Scrambling, a little bit messy. That's come off Johnson in the end. Some youngsters on the floor for the Saints. Evans Jr. was fantastic earlier on in the Sky Broadband Rapid League game.
As Judd looks to push the ball up.
Where are you looking for a lift here from the Giants? Is it defense? Is it offense? Is it a bit of both?
I think the pace and tempo, it needs to be, like you see Hayden Jones there getting into the paint, and that's where it is. The Giants need to make sure, great rebound, but I think paint touches are where it comes from. There you go, Liam Judd. They need to keep attacking, getting into the paint, looking to finish at the rim, but then driving and kicking to shooters.
And offensive rebounds working favourably for the Giants tonight. Some second chance points there. Harris, Richards. Oh, did he travel there? Took a few steps, didn't he? Dougal Meter. And Dalton in the end, another rebound. The outlet to Judd is good. Judd can certainly fly on the Euro. Timeout, Saints. And the Giants with back-to-back baskets. The flying mullet, Liam Judd. How about that?
I tell you what, the composure, the slow step, the Euro. Great finish from Liam Judd. And that's going to be a massive confidence boost of him as you see. Here we go. Tough finish. Tough finish from Liam Judd. And the crowd now, everyone's starting to get on their feet. That's what the Trafalgar Centre needs for the Nelson Giants.
Good outlet pass there from Callum Dalton as well. It was a little bit quiet in the opening game of the season, Callum Dalton, but he's been really good tonight.
Yeah, been really impressed with Callum Dalton. Now up to 9 points, 5 rebounds, a couple of assists in there too. And just his composure down both offensive and defensive ends. It's a real calming presence for the Giants, and they need to continue to play through him.
I do appreciate the fact that the Giants have got some good court entertainment going on at the moment, getting the crowd involved, but it's always a bit of a laugh when you see somebody with one of the T-shirt guns fire away and the T-shirt drops at their feet.
I tell you what, I think a few of the boys on the bench have even been a bit of a victim to a couple of those T-shirt guns. I'll tell you what, they look cool, but
there they are.
There we go, right there. They can be a wee bit inconsistent. Shout out NBS though, NBS Nelson Giants.
Margin at 5. So the Giants have just got themselves up and going a bit here. Some good confidence for them. Let's see what they can come out with from this timeout called by the Saints.
Yeah, been really impressed with how the Giants have responded to that run by the Saints at the end. So obviously a big end to the third quarter here, so they can have a really good look at it in the fourth.
Here's Bruce. Harris on the turn. Oh, did he slip or was there some contact from Lockie Crate? Need to see that again. Maybe a 50-50. Always hard for an official in this situation when a player goes down. Let's have a look. GJ Gardner-Holmes replay. Oh, in the end.
Yeah. But maybe a wee bit of a bump from Crate, but I think Hiram has probably slipped there. Is that an Ernest Kerr sighting on the screen there?
I think you're right. In the background.
Afro and all.
Former Giant. Is he playing this season, Ernie Kerr?
Nah, having knee surgery, so
that's
out
right.
for the season.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
Aiming for Tupu League.
Oh, Harris. Well, this is what Hiram Harris does. He's one of the best. And when he gets that look in his eye, he's just got it at the moment, hasn't he, Tom? You would have seen that a few times over the years when Hiram Harris gets that look in his eye and he just says, hey, give me the ball and get out of the way. This is what he does.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a dangerous sight if you're on the opposition team. You know, he starts to get ahead of steam. He gets downhill. He's so strong, uses his body so well, and is great finishing and showing there with the right hand too.
And Liam Judd up to 4 fouls as well. So that's going to be a story with 14 minutes still to play in this game. Harris converts the bonus from the Chemist Warehouse. Liafa preparing to come back into the game. Margin at 8. Hope you're enjoying a good contest tonight in the Sal's NBL. Dempster.
You see Hiram again putting that pressure on.
Dalton up on Mazinski. That's a tough shot in the end.
Saints starting to pick up the pressure defensively, so the Giants need to make sure, as we see Dougal Meter gets his hands on that. Giants need to make sure that they're still able to play through that pressure.
Saints clear out for Bruce. Screen up Mazinski. Bruce searching, and again, just given way too much space.
Yeah, Sean Bruce hit 3 or 4 of them against the Airs, the exact same shot, so you definitely don't want to give him those looks.
Giants need to tighten up.
Looking for Dalton in the post here, the mismatch. He's got Dougal Meter on him.
I think Caslow Evans Jr.'s just come in there and collected him across the arm.
Great job from the Saints there. Obviously seeing Callum Dalton has the mismatch with Dougal Meter, but they're collapsing, they're offering support and help, and just an unfortunate foul there from Evans Jr. We see on the replay.
There it is, just reaching up. It's a fair way to reach up, it must be said as well. Callum Dalton's not a short man.
Yeah, and Caslow ain't breaking height records either, so yeah, definitely a way to reach up.
Dalton setting the screen for Jones. Did really well there, Hayden Jones.
Great patience there from H. Comes down, sees no one on the drop. Great finish.
Travel there called on Hiram Harris. So a turnover, and the Giants just keeping themselves in this contest right now.
And that's the thing, when they've got the home crowd too, the Giants fans, as amazing as they are, as the game starts to go on, they start to get louder and louder. And if that game is close in the fourth quarter, the roof will be blown off the TC.
One of the things I love about the Trafalgar Centre as well is straight after the final whistle, win or lose, let's stick with this Dalton 3. The fans come down on the court to meet their favourite players. It happens everywhere in the Cells NBL, but gee, they love it here, don't they?
Yeah, it's a special basketball community. The Giants, you know, the Giants in the schools program has been massive. Kids like to get out and meet the lads. It's fantastic.
Good defence there from Dalton. Giants look to close. Oh, Dougal Meter just picked that off. He was all over it.
Yeah, Dougal Meter's been mismatched onto Dalton a few times, but definitely isn't allowing him to get position, which is really great. And guys that are coming off the bench, you want them to be providing that spark and providing that energy. So it's good to see.
Just saw one of my favourite mascots sitting in the stands as well, G.I. Ant, giving some high fives to the fans behind us. Dalton spinning and finishing. How good has he been tonight?
Callum Dalton has been fantastic, and the unit, the working of him and Bryce Johnson, and then also you got Dempster's not on the court. The front court has really stepped up for the Giants tonight.
And we're back to 4. Doesn't seem that long ago that the Saints led by 10. Liafa around Jones. That was crafty through hands. Ends up with Bruce for 3.
That is pretty basketball, you know. The term obviously is dominoes, allowing the other team to get into dominoes. Dominoes falling, drive, kick, open 3.
Johnson inside somehow managed to keep control of it. There's G.I. Ant, happy with that basket. And Johnson adds a couple.
Yeah, every import every time does not understand why the Ant is a mascot, but we get there in the end.
It actually took me a good 4 years to work out the GI part of it, believe it or not. I'm not that clever, by the way. There's Plumtree from the corner. Oh, that was an up and under. Bobbled out in the end. A minute to play in this third quarter. Gripping contest unfolding tonight as these two teams search for their opening win of the season. Jones left it behind. Saints come up with it.
Yeah, Saints starting to put a wee bit of pressure on Dalton, ensuring he doesn't get that pass. If they're not marking Hayden, he needs to make sure he's being aggressive off that. Activate the defense.
Mazinski gets the roll. And this crowd silenced.
And that's what the Giants are going to need, especially into that fourth quarter. They're going to need that crowd, that 6th man, having their back. Now, Fitcher asking the question where the foul was, but looked like there was a wee bit of body contact on there.
Coming up next for these two teams, Saints are at home next Wednesday night to the Sharks, TSB Bank Arena. Wednesday night hoops, Saints and the Sharks. That's always a good matchup between those two.
Absolutely.
And the Giants' next game is next Friday night against the Bulls. The Bulls coming to town.
And that's another tough game. I mean, the Giants have had 3 tough ones to start, but it is on their home floor. This Jones, great move. Bumps off Pilcher.
Johnson again given some space and again makes the Saints pay. That's the 3rd time he's done that tonight.
I tell you what, he is really starting to show that range and the floor spacing. This is a great thing for the Giants when you add Forbes and Judd in there who are proven shooters as well. It's a dangerous 3-point shooting team, something they struggled with last year.
Sal's NBL highlights show every Tuesday night. Make sure you join us on Sky Sports for that. All of the best bits. Liafa to Mazinski. That's going to count. Mazinski fouled. He's pretty happy with that.
Yeah, great role from Mazinski, and he's having a lot of impact. What he does well for a big player is he gets out of those screens really fast, makes himself a big target, and able to be the beneficiary of that pass.
11 points, 6 rebounds for Nick Mazinski, the big centre. And he adds another one there. Only the 1 block tonight. Had 6 against the Airs. Jones, dying seconds. What can the Giants come up with here? 3 to play. Got to do something special. Great hands in the end by, is that Dougal Meter on the floor?
Dougal Meter.
Very, very good defensively. And that'll do us to 3. Same margin as we saw at half-time. 1 to play tonight. Saints out by 8.
Still a good 10 minutes of basketball to come. And time for your... And we're going to give them 45 seconds to do that. Every time they make a bucket, they come back, they take a piece of pizza, a slice of pizza, drop it on the ground. Thanks to our friends at Souls. Are you ready to go, boys? Okay, 45 seconds. Your time starts now. Here we go. The Souls NBL Steel. The Souls NBL Steel, now available in all Souls pizzerias across New Zealand. A combination of their famous New York pepperoni, classic cheese, and delicious garlic knots, all laid up at a deal that'll make you dribble. 2 shots apiece, 2 for William, 2 for Milan. Milan just made his third. William just made his third. Coming back for another slice. 15 seconds to go. Here we go. A chance for one more shot if they're quick. They've got 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. That is it. It is all over. Ladies and gentlemen, give them a round of applause. They just wiped GIN out of pizza. The Souls Pizza Steel. We do it at every home game here at the NBS Nelson Giants. Could be you taking part next time. Not you, Davini, you're not allowed. Sorry.
A quarter to play here in Nelson tonight. Saints led by 8 at the half. They lead by 8 with a quarter to play. Azalea Arthur didn't score in that quarter, but others stepped up for the Saints. Sean Bruce starting to become prominent. He's got 15. Azalea Arthur still with 20. All of the stats, of course, with thanks to Chemist Warehouse. Bryce Johnson up to 19 for the Giants. A quarter to play here. Saints out by 8. Tom Ingham, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think a really good job from the Giants to be able to limit the Saints at the start of that quarter, but then as the end of that quarter hit, you had Mazinski really getting downhill and pick and roll, finishing a couple of and-ones. Bryce Johnson, oh!
Block number 2 for the game
There
for Nick Mazinski. And a big one at that as well.
Great close out there from Judd. Way to get over that screen as well.
Judd with the job on Liafa now. Liafa didn't score in that third quarter. Did have 20 in the opening half, though. Look at Harris getting busy. Good defense, Dalton.
Callum Dalton again, really having an impact on this game.
Judd with the 4 fouls. Keep an eye on that. Forbes has only scored 4 for the game. And he's called for the offensive foul there, just charging his way through. That's his 3rd foul of the game. He just can't get into it at the moment.
No, he can't. I mean, the Saints have done a really good job. They haven't really given him too much breathing room on the perimeter, and the ball, he hasn't really seen a lot of ball. So obviously trying to get into the lane there, and it's frustrating when it's not your night, and then obviously you get the charge as well. But let's see how he responds in this 4th quarter. 24-year-old out of Mississippi. 14 points per game in his senior year at the University of Alabama. Been well held tonight. Liafa. And a turnover there for the Saints, or did it come off the hand of Alex McNaught? It did, so it's going to be a Saints ball. Yeah, I mean, if I'm Liafa and I can shoot like he can, I'm letting that one fly. He gets that ball, he looks for the reversal, keep shooting it. Took a while for both teams to get going in the third. Liafa. Well, if he's given the space down the alley like that, he's not going to miss too many. Well, that's it. And in the first half, the Giants are really helping from the wing, but there's no wing help there. The big is sitting in a deep drop. That's easy buckets for Liafa, Bruce, Marshall, the works. Game high 22 for Liafa now. Averaged 22 a game last season. Deep. Oh, Bryce Johnson is having some sort of a night. I tell you what, big guard coming down with the tween, one dribble, pull from deep. Corner, Marshall, he answers for the Saints just like that. Big response. Hasn't had a great shooting night so far, Marshall. 1 for 6, but that will put him up to 10 points now. Judd covered by Marshall. And steps on the baseline. So an important win there for the Saints. And this is a really important part in the game. The Giants need to ensure they hang around so they have a go at it at the end. But as we've seen in this game, if the Saints get out and running and they get a couple of runs in here, it can be dangerous times for the Giants. So a big couple minutes.
Well, we saw it at a game-high 10 during the third. It's back to there now. So the Giants have come and the Saints have answered. Bruce. Forbes just caught under the screen there of Mazinski.
Great hustle there from McNaught. Keep that alive.
Bullet dodged. And we've got to stop here. Maybe a shot clock situation it is, so we're just going to fix that up. The Barnacan officials all over that. Bryce Johnson tonight, 22 for him, 4 of 6 from downtown.
Yeah, you see there, Judd stepping on the line. Coming down. Judd for 3.
Oh, this will help. This will help.
Absolutely. Liam Judd coming off there. Baseline out of bounds. Bang, bang, 3.
12 points for him now. He is riding some foul pressure, though. He's got 4. He's got the job on Liafa. Liafa on the drive. McNaught hands it straight back to Bruce. That wasn't intended. Short. McNaught rebound. On the run now, the Giants. Forbes desperately needs to get going. And Dalton in the end did really well, just unable to control it.
I mean, a quick shot, but I don't mind it from Forbes. Like that guy, he's a proven shooter. His college career, he's hitting around the 38 to 40% mark from 3. Gets a good look in transition with his feet set. That one goes in. That's a real crowd builder.
These two teams come in off an opening game loss. I've got to say, in 7 minutes or just over, there's a big difference between being 1-1 and 0-2, isn't there?
Absolutely, and you don't want to get caught in that situation where you're looking for a win come 4 or 5 games into the season.
Forbes just looking for some confidence right now. Nice little hand in there from Nick Marshall.
Yeah, great job from Marshall getting in front. You see Forbes looking to push the ball. Comes down, great hand.
And as we mentioned, Giants have got the Bulls next. That's going to be a tough one. MVP time. There's the QR code. Fun and free, mixandpick.com. I'll tell you what, Alex McNaught's got some fans out there, hasn't he? 43% of the vote.
Man, I think Isaiah Liafa and Bryce Johnson sitting down at 0% at the moment. Obviously, the American viewers aren't getting behind their man.
Early stages. Early stages. Bryce Johnson will creep up very, very quickly. Liafa at 43%. He certainly deserves that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, McNaught, even though he hasn't scored any points yet, currently sitting at 0-6, but is having a great job in terms of rebounding the ball. 6 rebounds, 5 assists with 0 turnovers, and that's massive, as he is their floor general, and they need him to be able to contribute on that.
Now, there's been a technical foul called here. We were having a general chat and we've missed that. So, not sure who the tech is on, but Bruce has added 1.
I'm looking maybe Bryce Johnson by the reaction there.
In fact, it's an unsportsmanlike foul called on Johnson, and that's why it's 2 in possession. So, that's what's happened there. And the Saints have converted. Out by 9. Giants need to stop the flow. Bruce really active right now. Look at that. Sean Bruce at 34, 13 seasons in the Aussie NBL. The boy from country Victoria, from Horsham.
And that's the same thing. He's getting into that lane. Johnson bit a highlight after the action.
Yeah, that's not going to count, unfortunately.
But yeah, you see Sean Bruce. He's now coming off as we look at the replay here. Bryce Johnson getting that seal on Plumtree, but good foul from Plumtree to get that. Sorry, is that Richards?
It is Richards, yeah.
Richard before the foul.
And there we go. The MVP vote starting to sort itself out a bit better now. Liafa at 54%. He's had a heck of a game. Giants need everything to go right for them. Forbes underneath. And how about the finish on the reverse from Liam Judd?
I tell you what, Liam Judd has really come to life as well. The energy's been there the whole game, but obviously the foul trouble has hindered him. Now he's starting to get himself going. Great signs for the Giants.
Don't want to confuse our viewers at the moment. Jonathan Johnson is actually Bryce Johnson. Just so you're aware, in case you want to vote for Bryce. Harris for 3. Gee, it was bang on target too. Long rebound fell to Richards. Now Liafa goes. Now it's come off the foot of Liafa here. That's going to be a Giants ball. It's a mini win.
Great job from McNaught, really getting up and in Liafa, making him go over that screen. And it looks like the big was a bit more connected there, which is what the Giants are going to need if Liafa and Bruce are coming off those screens looking to score.
Just over 5 to play. Saints, of course, had to play a little bit of extra basketball last time out. Double overtime. Jones to Dempster. Look at Johnson getting up amongst a couple. Loose ball. Dempster keeps it alive. Shot clock at 4. Jones to Judd. Got to do something. Jones can't finish it. And that one over the back. Now, Hayden Jones at the moment, keeping an eye on him. He had some attention to his thighs a little bit earlier on tonight, and he's just stretching them out now.
Yeah, I've seen him talking with his old man a wee bit before, just checking in if he was all right. But, you know, Hayden want to push through. He won't let injury stop him, so good to see him still pushing out there.
Well, we often see players stretching one thigh. We don't often see them stretching 2. So that's something to keep an eye on as well. A miss there for the Saints. Johnson to Crate, to Jones. I'll tell you what would fix those ailments, a big 3-pointer. Here he is. Ball in hand, goes to the rack and finishes. And again, he's just hobbling down the floor at the moment, Hayden Jones. So whatever's going on here is bothering him. And in fact, he's down on the floor.
Hoping it's only a cramp.
Well, we've seen a lot of cramps, haven't we, in the first couple of weeks of the season. But clearly something is bothering Hayden Jones. He's been reaching for his thigh. Bryce Johnson steps in, picked him up like a toothpick.
Light work for the big fella. Let's have a look here.
It was a good basket, wasn't it?
Oh, tough, and bumped Hiram Harris off.
And straight away, you just saw him grab for that right thigh. So that's something to keep an eye on for the Giants. They have brought it back to 7, though.
And this is where it really comes down to stops. And the one thing you cannot have is Hiram Harris getting downhill. And you see Coach Fitchett going straight to a timeout. That absolutely cannot happen if you want to get back into this game.
Does it so often, doesn't he, Hiram Harris? He's been big tonight for the Saints. 15.7 rebounds.
Yeah, he has. And if we look here too, not as many assists tonight, but he also, the way Hiram moves the ball and keeps motion going, it allows the whole Saints offense to be a lot more free-flowing. And then you've got your likes of your Isaiah Liafa, Sean Bruce, Nick Marshall as well, getting downhill, scoring. It's a potent offense when it gets going.
Large pepperoni pizza, that's this week's Sal's Super Special. There's the QR code and the online code as well, available till next Tuesday. Get in on the large pepperoni, $29.99. You won't get much better than that. What do the Giants need to do from here? Down by 7. They've got themselves back into it a few times, but the Saints have always come up with the big answer. Should say down by 9, of course, off the back of that Hiram Harris basket.
I think, like you say, I think it stops. The term when we get 3 stops in a row is called a kill. So I think the Giants need to, you know, string some kills together and ensure that, you know, the Saints can't get going. I think once they get stops, look to push the tempo and really get down the other end, be aggressive, but it's going to come down to the defensive end.
Hiram Harris starting to get some votes now. MVP. Love to hear from the viewers and the fans. Who's your MVP tonight? Oh, Dalton's been picked up for the offensive screen.
Yeah, that might be the 5th or 6th illegal screen that's been called tonight.
And disappointing for the Giants coming out of a timeout, blowing that opportunity. Harris, Marshall, Mazinski. Oh, Crate just left him be, and Mazinski made him pay.
Yeah, big time hit from Mazinski. I mean, the Giants did a pretty good job at walling up with Hiram, and they kick it to the big man. Shows the touch.
Saints start season 2025. Foul there against Bruce. Saints start 2025. Their first 5 games are against the 5 teams that finished above them last season.
That's a full-on schedule, and obviously with the regularity of the games, I mean, and then you see a double overtime loss in their first game, coming into a potentially close game here tonight. If the Giants can pull it back, it's hard yakka.
Who was the toughest team for you to play against, Tom, over all of those years? Was it the Saints?
Yeah, a year I can remember, I think it was the 2017 Saints. They went undefeated. It was an incredibly stacked lineup, and yeah, they gave over the business that year. They were impressive.
So we're back at 9 after those makes. Heavy contact there between Harris and Dempster. And we've got a whistle. We're going to clean up the floor here after Sammy Dempster went sprawling across the boards. Always been a tough matchup, hasn't it, for the Giants against the Saints. For those who like some fun facts, the only team that has played in every single season of the Sal's NBL, 43 years I think it is, if I've got my maths right, but the only team that's been there every year, the Nelson Giants.
Yeah, very, very proud. The Giants are very proud of that. Obviously, the consistency and some challenging times in some stages throughout New Zealand basketball, always managing to get a team out there and hopefully in their 43rd season can compete and go all the way.
Saints are 1 year behind them, by the way.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Saints' resume speaks for itself. You see those banners, I mean...
20 grand finals, 12 championships.
They are story. It's a storied franchise, and I'll tell you what, it is broken. They have broken the Giants' hearts a lot of times. Lob.
Mazinski, too much space underneath, good setup. And the Saints add another 2, back out by 11, just over 3 to play. Have they made their run?
This is it here. It's now or never for the Giants. They really need to start. As McNaught, look at the floater. Love that from McNaught. He needs to continue to turn that corner. He's confident in that floater, and it's something that's going to open the Giants' offense up a whole lot more.
6 rebounds, 6 assists for Alex McNaught tonight. That's his first points. Harris, Mazinski surrounded by blue singlets. Forbes comes up with it. Foul on Liafa. Pretty clever in the end from Isaiah Liafa.
Yeah, great foul. Stayed in front, so it wasn't in danger of being an unsportsmanlike foul, or a really good job. Slowed the break down. Allows the Saints to get their defense set.
GJ Gardner-Holmes replay. And you'll see the foul here. Liafa just very clever as the Giants swarmed forward. Bryce Johnson done a little bit of everything tonight. McNaught getting busy off the glass. Back-to-back baskets for Alex McNaught.
And it's the same thing. When he gets downhill, the whole floor opens up. So he needs to make sure he's a scoring threat. Great job getting over the screen.
And now we're back to 7. Can the Giants get a stop? Harris. Liafa. Back to Harris. Clever. Now, was there a little travel in there? Doesn't matter. Good finish in the end.
Yeah, great 2-man action. There's 2 guys that have played a lot of basketball together. Feel confident around each other.
There's a foul down there. Oh, that's going to count. Foul on Bruce. Johnson converts. He's off to the Chemist Warehouse.
Hiram Harris does not like it. Obviously, we look at the replay here on the first one.
Oh, what did you think of the feet there?
I'm not going to lie to you, Justin. I actually missed the feet, so I'll have to leave that one up to you, mate.
Well, do you know what? The best thing about the GJ Gardner-Holmes replay is we get to see it over and over again. We'll stay with the Bryce Johnson shot here. We'll see if we can bring it back, and you can look at the Hiram Harris feet. That goes down.
Big time.
Here we go. Watch the feet.
Oh,
too hard to call that. You can't call that.
Yeah. I'll give it to him. I'll give it to him.
We're at 6. 2 minutes to play. Thursday night hoops in the Sal's NBL. The Giants are hanging in. Can they get a stop? Oh, Jalen Forbes just snatched it away. Picked up by Judd on the run. Johnson can't finish. Rebound, Marshall. Harris, one out with Forbes, backs it out. Probably pretty clever in the end. Waited for the cavalry to arrive.
Yeah, absolutely. Positions down here, very important. Seliafa, that could be off his knee.
It's going to be a Saints ball. Barter card officials right there on the scene. And there's a lot at stake. The reaction from the players, the emotion.
Yeah, Mike Fitchett not happy about that one. Not happy about that one, looking for a timeout. And
missed by Liafa. Judd comes up with it. A basket here makes it really interesting.
Liam Judd.
Massive three for the Giants. This crowd on their feet. Timeout, Saints. And look at this. 1:16 to play. The margin is back to 3. GJ Gardner-Holmes replay. Liam Judd says, why not?
And that is over the leading shot blocker in the league. A decent hand there. Pulls that in transition. Liam Judd, now I believe it's up to 17 points.
Tonight, yep.
6 of 7 from the field. I mean, that man obviously started slow with the foul trouble, has come back at pace, and what an acquisition for the Giants in the offseason.
4 of 5 beyond the arc as well tonight for Liam Judd.
And that's the thing the Giants really talked about in the offseason, was adding some three-point shooting to the roster, and seeing Liam Judd as someone there, you see right there, confident.
That's over Mazinski, by the way, as well.
Yeah, I tell you what, and he did not even think twice. He looked him straight in the eye. Bang.
So now the Saints with possession. Are they going to advance? Or are they going from the baseline? It's going to be a baseline ball for the Saints. 1:16 to play. Both teams still have their BNZ player timeout. They will be vital, you would think, down the stretch here. MVP, mixandpick.com, Liafa 45%, McNaught, who's come to life, hasn't he? 23%.
Yeah, he really has. And Liam Judd there starting to get a feature as well. I think we're going for a good finish here, Justin. Crowd's starting to get up.
Yeah, have a listen to them. Nice crowd in here tonight for a Thursday evening. And we've got a game. Let's see what the Saints can do. They lead by 3. Marshall! Oh, wow.
That is too easy for the Giants, but Marshall, way to get downhill.
Massive basket. Johnson can't reply with a triple, and the Saints will just slow things down.
Yeah, big look there from Johnson. He has hit 3 of them from the top. Doesn't get that one to go. Need a stop here.
Harris, Liafa, Harris, Mazinski. Front of the iron, Johnson, rebound, battling for it. And now the Giants need to come up with
Liam
something
Judd.
big. Johnson to Forbes, has been well held all night. This would be massive if he hits it. Judd, rebound, fouled, he's off to the stripe.
Great job from Liam Judd again. What a fourth quarter and second half he has had. You see him there, Forbes gets the look up. Hiram gets guilty ball watching. Great job there from Liam Judd.
I'll tell you what though, Hiram Harris is not an easy player to rebound over the top of either.
Oh, I've tried a couple of times and I've always come out second best, so no, he most certainly is not.
So now the pressure on Liam Judd to bring it back to a one-shot game. That one misses.
Yeah, big one there from Judd. Obviously needs to make this one right now. Keep the Giants rolling in with that sniff.
Mike Fitchett drawing up the next play for Bryce Johnson. Oh, he's missed both. Crucial misses there for the Giants. And now you'd think the Giants have to foul, and they do. McNaught reaching.
And it's an unsportsmanlike too. They've said he hasn't made an attempt at the ball, and that is massive. Mazinski's going to go for 2 and the ball back.
Look at this. Nick Marshall getting the handoff, and that's a big finish in the context of where the game was at.
Absolutely. I mean, they haven't slowed down. They've just come straight downhill. Easy dunk there.
Mazinski converts the first. They're going to get possession, of course, as well on that unsportsmanlike. Mazinski's got 17 now.
And perfect at the Chemist Warehouse too. So there we go.
Welcome to the commentary team, Tommy Ingham.
How good we are, commentator Curse alive.
Now you know what it's like for us. You've learnt your first lesson.
Oh, well.
19 seconds to play. Saints seemingly are home. Forbes has to foul, and that's going to send Sean Bruce to the line for a little bit more shopping. Looking at the Chemist Warehouse stats tonight, Saints have been to the line 26 times. Giants have been there just 12. Sean Bruce.
Yeah, Sean Bruce has really had a solid game throughout. At what, 7 of 13 from the field. Perfect at the line, 50% from three. We see maybe early timeout there taken by the Giants.
So 16.3 to play. Bruce converts 2 from the Chemist Warehouse. That margin was 3 just moments ago, and now it's back out to 8. And the battle is a big one for the Giants from here.
Yeah, absolutely. They've been round that 3-4 point mark at a few times throughout this game, especially at the end of the first half. In the first half, they were right there. You come back to the end of the fourth quarter here, the same things happen. So the Giants will be looking back and they'll be saying, hey, we're right in the mix, but ultimately need to capitalize on those positions that really count.
And of course, the home court was a tough one for the Giants last season. We talked about that earlier on. The wins were really hard to come by. Not the start they wanted this season on their home deck.
Yeah, it's obviously saying that the boys knew last year that was disappointing. They were very disappointed with how things went on their home court, and they'll know this year, even if it doesn't go to plan tonight, it's back to the drawing board and ensuring that you can make sure you get some more wins on their home floor.
2 games coming your way tomorrow night in the Sal's NBL. All of the action, of course, live on Sky Sport. Indian Panthers at home to the Franklin Bulls, and the Hawke's Bay Hawks looking for their 3rd straight win. They take on the Otago Nuggets. 16.3. Giants have got to go quickly here. Judd McNaught taking a lot of time. Held up by Dougal Meter. Eventually Forbes with the shot. Judd underneath. But they run out of time. Gee, they took an eternity there on the 14-second shot clock. And McNaught has been called for the foul.
I reckon that Giants one might have been a wee bit after the buzzer, but the refs have, luckily for the Giants and the points differential, swallowed their whistle a bit. So, but then obviously Bruce has the chance to make those 2 up right here.
Every point does count, of course.
Of course, there will be a quick presentation of the Shellcrest Cup following the game tonight.
Bruce hits the first. He's had a good night, hasn't he, Sean Bruce? What a start to the season. I think he's only short term as well for the Saints. Shea Illy still to come into the team. Nails both. And the wind has been taken out of this one, Tom Ingham.
It really has. There was a while there that the TC was starting to get lively, and it looked like the Giants were going to come back. But, you know, the Saints have done a great job weathering that storm. And 8-point lead now with 1 second left. Giants can take a lot out of this game, though, I think, as they take the BNZ player timeout.
Well, this is what we just spoke about. Every point counts as well. They're going to come forward and try and hit some points here for that points differential. BNZ player timeout. Ticket to the big game. With thanks to BNZ, scan that QR code for your chance to win tickets to this season's Sal's NBL. What a fantastic initiative from BNZ, inspiring the next generation of basketballers. All the boys and girls out there, get along and catch a game this season. Let's see if the Giants can come up with something special with 1.2 to play. Something late. Dempster, Forbes catches in the corner. And that will not bother the scorers. So the final score here tonight, Saints get it by 8 which ironically was the margin at the half, was the margin at three-quarter time, and is the margin to end the game, 94-86. Giants won the earlier Sky Broadband Rapid League. What did you make of the Saints win tonight, Tom Ingham?
Yeah, I mean, obviously a great win for the Saints. You know, there were times where they were tested, they were challenged, and the Giants looked to make some runs. But ultimately, I think it comes down to the quality of that starting group. You know, Hiram Harris really made his presence felt at the end. But I think if you're the Giants, look, you take a lot of positives out of this. They obviously have a tough turnaround and go the Bulls very soon, so they need to get up for that.
Chemist Warehouse stats. Bryce Johnson finished with 25. Liafa the top scorer for the Saints. Johnson with the double-double. Hiram Harris doing it all as he usually does. Look at Liafa with the 7 assists tonight as well.
Yeah, you got Callum Dalton there, 2 blocks. Mazinski leading the league in blocks now. I think that puts him to 4 blocks per game. Liafa coming to life with those 2 steals at the end of the game there. But great battle, great battle. Both teams can take a lot out of that.
So Saints get the opening win of their season. The Giants are still searching for win number 1. Panthers and the Bulls tomorrow night. Hawks and Nuggets tomorrow night as well. 1 game on Saturday, Rams and the Sharks. 3 games on Sunday, back to back in Auckland and Pukekohe. The Bulls take on the Hawks first up. Tuatara and the Airs is the afternoon game. And then Sunday evening, the Panthers take on the Jets. Tom Ingham, well done on debut tonight, mate.
Hey, thanks, mate. See the Shellcrest Cup there given, so well done to the Saints for winning the Shellcrest Cup. But yeah, thanks for having me, mate. Great to be here.
Saints get the win tonight, home by 8, 94-86. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you again tomorrow night on Sky Sport. More basketball coming your way with 2 more games in the Sal's NBL. See you then.
If you can,